You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. We'll have a whole lot of bitches jumping shit. You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. Will cause a whole lot of jumping shit. You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. Will have a whole lot of jumping shit.
What's going on, party people? It's your man, 50 Grand, the Godfather, Nate Milton, and you are about to listen to another excellent episode from the Nefarious Media Network. Since January of 2025, we have been putting it down for the crown, and we've been committed to bringing you truthful, thoughtful, turned-up commentary as it pertains to the worlds of sports, politics, pop culture, pro wrestling, entertainment, and life. Yes, life. This thing that we are all just trying to get through day by day. An electric word called life, as the man used to say. And that brings us to the drive for 500. Yes, 500 YouTube subscribers, which gets us halfway to monetization, and 500 Patreon subscribers. Patreon.com/Nefarious Media Network. That's our stretch goal for the year. Because if we hit those marks, it allows us the flexibility and the freedom and the funds, quite honestly, to do some more things here at the network, to be more consistent with our shows, to bring you new shows, and to bring some people on to help with production. So if you believe in us, man, if you believe in what we're doing here, because we got a lot of hard-working people, myself included, working 50, 60 hours a week at the shoot jobs, got families, got kids, got responsibilities, but we still do this, man, because we love this and we believe in this. And if you believe in us and you love the shows that we do, help us out, man. Help a brother out. Help a sister out. That's all we asking, because we are trying to change the game by any means necessary, even if those means may be nefarious.
It's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. We'll have a whole lot of jumping shit.
This is the Parley, a place where guests are required to put their money where their mouth is, where we double down on the discourse and conversation. That's the only currency accepted. Proudly presented by the Nefarious Media Network.
Welcome to the Parley. As that lady said off the top, man, this is the place where conversation is the only currency accepted. Proudly presented by the Nefarious Media Network. We've got a lot of things to talk about this week because, you know, I'm sure all of us have had a rough week. And sometimes, you know, it feels like everything's crashing down around you. But a wise man once said, when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, you got to take a stand because it don't help to hide. And somebody who is never hiding, someone who is always out on Front Street, is one of the greatest producers in the podcast game today. Y'all know him. Some of you love him. Some of y'all just want to see his feet pics. Patreon.com/Nefarious Media Network. If you know, you know. But let's bring him to the stage, ladies and gentlemen. The Caitlin Clark of production. That's why so many people call him Caitlin Dark. But y'all give it up for my friend and our producer here at the Nefarious Media Network, two-way Ray Williams. Ray Williams, what's going on, brother? Or should I say, what's going on, brother?
Oh, I'm all right, brother. I'm doing all right. I'm trying to hold on. Very, very busy week, as you alluded to from last week. A bunch of big news coming out, and it's just a shame that you get to this age that you kind of see the folks that kind of shaped your childhood or your teenage years, and it's kind of like you get to an age and you start seeing those folks fade out. So it's going to be kind of a somber show, but you know, especially with you here, brother Nate, we know we're going to turn up a little bit as well. So
that's what we do here in Nefarious, Ray. Thoughtful, truthful, turned up commentary. That's what we bring each and every episode here at Nefarious Media Network, especially here on the Parley. So let me set the table, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to kick things off by speaking about some of the recent celebrity deaths that have passed, that have happened. We're going to talk about Fantastic Four. Ray Williams, you ain't ready for this Fantastic Four movie that's out right now. I saw it earlier today, brother, and I have so many thoughts. So we're going to give you a spoiler-free review of Fantastic Four on this episode. And then a week from now, next Monday, if I got the schedule right, we'll be back with episode 2 of Super Salad, OG Rachel and myself, to give you the nitty-gritty, to give you the spoilerific details of the latest in the long line of Marvel Cinematic Universe joints. But I will say this off the top before we get to that portion of the program, Ray. Spoiler alert, it's 4 of them joints, man. It's 4 people in the Fantastic Four, Ray. I don't know if you knew that.
You're taking me by surprise already. See, no spoilers.
I mean, spoiler alert, Fantastic Four got 4 people in it. And they a family. Uh-oh. The internet is about to revolt, Ray.
And they're fantastic.
They are fantastic. Is the movie fantastic, though? That's the question. Is the film as fantastic as this family of 4 people? Maybe five. We'll get to that later. As Kendrick would say, I'll get back to that for the record. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. And then we're going to end things off this week by feeding some ducks on the pond, as we always do. So right now it's me and Ray, and we will be joined by other members of Team Nefarious as the show goes on. Shout out to everybody watching live Monday afternoon. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments about the latest slate of celebrity deaths or the legacy of one of these celebrities in particular, which I'm sure is going to take up a lot of the show. If you have thoughts on Fantastic Four, chime in, hit us up in the chat. And you can also send us email. I was going to say like traditional mail, but technically that's like paper mail, snail mail, which still is a thing. But you can shoot us an email if you have any thoughts about what we've talking about this week. And then finally, you know, that's the email, kingsofsport@gmail.com. I think we've also got a Nefarious email. We just haven't got that one online yet, but it's coming. It's coming. But one thing we do have online, right, that everybody needs to talk about is this drive for 500. The drive for 500 on Patreon and YouTube. 500 YouTube subscribers, which gets us halfway to monetization, and 500 patrons, which will go a long way towards allowing us to do some more things here at the network and bring some more folks on, get additional producers, and improve the general quality of the content that we're creating, man, because we're working hard on this, and we want to take it to even bigger and better stages as we are 6 months in, Ray, to this journey at Nefarious.
Indeed, indeed. And like you said, we've been consistent and we've been doing our best. As past you said off the top, a lot of us put in this work, and even that's in addition to with our shoot jobs and with everything else that's going around, but we do it because we love it. So um, whatever you can spare would be much appreciated to help us continue to keep this going forward.
I'm telling you, look, Ray is just scratching the surface, man. Because as I said, man, we've all got jobs, we've all got lives. Ray got 3 kids he don't even talk to because of this podcast. They're like, Papa, will you read us a story? And Ray just like, nah, Daddy's got to go to work with his old Dwayne the Rock Johnson from the Fast and Furious ass. Just Daddy's got to go to work. Like, but Papa, we haven't seen you in days.
Well,
Who are
why
your
does
your children, Ray?
I'm about to say, why does my son sound like Oliver Twist?
Hey, you raised him, I didn't, brother. That's on you as a parent. But yes, so let's move away from Ray and his fractured home life, and let's talk about the news of last week, which was another string of celebrity deaths. And you know the old saying, it always comes in threes, Ray, which to me
Yep.
is more correlation than causation. Like people die all the time.
Yeah,
People die. Somebody died today, Ray.
yep.
Somebody dying right now. R.I.P. brother or sister, whoever you are. Can you sign up to the Patreon before you go though? $5, man. You don't need it. You don't need $5 in heaven, Ray. They're not gonna miss it.
That's true.
That'd be wild if somebody's last act was like, I must subscribe to Patreon. Oh, remember me. But yeah, let's talk about the latest string of celebrity deaths, man. And we've seen an outpouring of love. We've seen an outpouring of memories, and we've also, in one particular case, seen an outpouring of complicated conversations. Ray Williams, complicated was the word of the week. We'll save that one for last, though. He can be a main eventer one last time. But last week we lost Ozzy Osbourne, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and Terry Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
And so, Ray, like when these happen, because I know obviously just kind of being around our age bracket and being a black man in America, Malcolm Jamal Warner hit me the hardest, especially the way that he died, because it wasn't, he wasn't some 75, 80-year-old man. He was still relatively young and was doing on vacation, having fun, doing something I guess that he loved to do, and drowned off the coast of Costa Rica. And it's like, damn, that's a senseless death, losing Malcolm Jamal Warner, who this week I think a lot of people found like, oh, there were more layers to this guy than just Theo from the Cosby Show back in the day. Like, this dude was a musician, a poet, a director, somebody that was an activist in some respects, and just a lot more depth to Malcolm Jamal Warner than I think one would see at first glance. This was somebody who was on with Melissa Ford. She's got a podcast now, because everybody's got a podcast. But Melissa Ford was talking with Malcolm Jamal Warner a few weeks ago, and she was like, how do you want to be remembered? Obviously not knowing that this was going to happen a few weeks later. And he was just like, people are going to remember me as Theo, and that's something that can't be taken away. And he's like, whatever you want to say about, Dr. Cosby, what he gave me with that show was not just a job, but it was immortality. Because that character is something that's going to live forever, and you're going to connect it to Malcolm Jamal Warner. But he was like, at the end of the day, I just want to be remembered as a good man, as a good person. And it just kind of speaks to who he was. So that's the one that hit me the hardest, Ray. What were your thoughts when you heard the news about Malcolm Jamal Warner dying?
Well, like you said, it was initially sad to hear of his passing, but it was doubly troubling when you hear, like you said, when you hear of how he passed away. And it kind of took me back and reminded me of how Shad Gaspard passed away. And Also, I don't know if you're familiar with this actress, but young lady by the name of Naya Rivera,
Yeah,
who
Glee.
Glee, yes. Similar, not exactly the same circumstances, but as far as like tragic, out of nowhere, sudden, with drowning, like that's how it kind of like those things. And I hate to make light of it, but that's why I don't go out in the sea.
I
I
mean,
stay in the
same note
pool.
too, brother. Same
No,
note too,
I
bro.
know.
Like that's
Don't
the first. I'm gonna like after my first thought when I heard the news was like, damn, man, that sucks, man. My second thought was that's why I keep my black ass on the shore.
see. I'm glad I'm not the only person. And again, we're not making light of that stuff because it's tragic what happened to him. But I was like, yeah, I was like, if I gotta save somebody, then I don't mind. I know how, but it's just the unpredictability of the
Yeah.
water, especially with if you're going out in open water and it's like
Like you can drown in a swimming pool, but at least in a swimming pool, like the chances of you being saved or rescued are higher than if you're out in an ocean where you can get swept out to sea with the quickness. And it's just like, yeah, like this is just so sad.
Yes.
Because it's like, because I think like the way my brain works, I think about like his final moments because there's like panic and it's like, there's panic and then there's like I don't know if you lose consciousness. Like it's just like, damn, man, like drowning is a horrible way to die.
Yes.
Like any way to die is not a great way to die, but some are better than others. Drowning to me would be one of the worst ways to die. And so the fact that that's the way that he lost his life, that he spent his last few moments on this earth, like it's just sad, man.
Yeah. And like you said, I think he's mainly going to be remembered as Theo. I was a little bit younger when the Cosby Show came around. Like I was around when it was mainly like syndication. So I would see it like after the news, or I would see it during the daytime when they would put it on different channels and stuff. So I was familiar with his work, and like I didn't have like that big brother relationship or kind of like that parasocial relationship with him, but I always admired like his talent. And then as I got older and I started seeing more stuff that he was in, whether it be Malcolm and Eddie, which was hilarious, whether it be his cameos in the Key and Peele skits with the Black Republicans.
Oh yeah, I am royally miffed.
And I really got like
that is like, one of my favorite Key and Peele sketches. We are not a monolith. Matter of fact, I want to bring up our next speaker. I am royally miffed.
Yeah. And then even like recently, I think he was on a medical drama not too long ago, and he was just awesome in that as well. So it's just to see like the range that this brother had and just the all around talent. And like you said, he was multi-dimensional, especially with him being a poet as well. And so yeah, I really am very deeply saddened because as we live along, it seems like the 50s are, even though like the 50s are older, it's still way too young. If you don't have anything like nagging, like it is like any medical issues that are really nagging on you, like unless you're having that, like it just seems too young to go.
Yeah, he still had a good 20, 30, however many years ahead of him had he not passed. And so yeah, that's tragic. Did we have somebody join us, Ray, while we were talking? I thought I heard the doorbell.
Well, yes, we do. In fact, of course.
If it's not Gordon Gartrell, I don't want to talk to him.
Well, it might be even close. It might be a close second to
Gordon Gartrell.
Yeah. It's our third king here at Nefarious Media. It's Brother Christopher Ely.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's up, Doc?
Man, chilling.
I'm disappointed in you, Chris. I thought you was gonna show up in the proper tribute clothes and have the Gordon Gartrell shirt on, brother.
Oh yeah, I wish I had one of those, man. Yeah. R.I.P. Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yeah, so
I heard.
I was gonna say, as somebody that's out there, Chris, you talk to us like you kind of float in and out of these Hollywood circles, man. I was wondering because Ray and I talked about how we felt when we heard the news that the brother died tragically, drowning in Costa Rica. What were your thoughts, man, about Malcolm and his passing and the life that he lived?
Yeah, man. The thing that I remember the most about Malcolm Jamal Warner, especially as he became an adult, is his voice, man. Like anytime you hear him talk or anytime you heard him talk, you knew automatically who it was, His voice was just so distinct. I am acquainted with his ex-girlfriend Karen Molina White. And she posted on her Facebook page. I'm friends with her on Facebook, and I shared her picture. And yeah, man, he's just synonymous with just so many decent childhood moments for me. I heard Ray talk about the show he was on. That was The Residence.
Yeah,
and that was a good show. I didn't get to like keep up with it because these days I just don't keep up with series the way I used to. And he was also on one of my favorite underground shows that not much people talk about, that used to come on Showtime, called Jeremiah with Luke Perry, who also passed away. I never got the privilege of meeting Malcolm Jamal Warner. I did go to a couple of his poetry slams out here. They were cool things to go to. He was a Grammy Award-winning poet, so he had layers to him. The saddest part is, he had a 7-year-old daughter that's gonna have to spend the rest of her life without her father. I can relate to that because my father died when I was even younger than she was,
Wow.
And the thing is, I heard you guys talking about water. Yeah, man. I used to surf when my balance started kind of messing up on me. It didn't go away completely, but it was like that was one of the things that my neurologist recommended to me. She said, you could take up snowboarding or surfing.
Okay.
You don't have to like, all you have to do is stand there and kind of steady yourself. And I've had the day I stopped surfing was with one of the homies I used to surf with, because there's a whole culture out here, right?
Right.
I was kicking it with him and stuff. And one of the dudes got caught in a riptide. Like we got him out of there. Not we, but the people that were there. They were able to rescue him, but that was
it for you, Chris.
I think I might have done it like
Chris was paddling to the shore. Y'all need to help him. Somebody help that man.
I just couldn't do it again, man. And it's the thing is, it's like death is something that's just gonna happen, man. Like, you can play it safe, but you really don't know what's gonna take you out. Like even like if you like a police officer becomes a parking attendant or something like that. You don't know if you're gonna be dealing with a madman that day. It's
right.
Risks are out here and risks are there. I wish his wife and his daughter peace. I did kind of feel a little bit of a way about it. And maybe I should ask Karen about this. But people like posting pictures and he's finally reunited with Michelle Thomas, who was his real life girlfriend of 7 years. He was actually by her bedside when she passed away, but they were already broken up by then, but I think they were still in contact. And I just like, this guy was married and had a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, why don't do that? They do that to Macho Man as well with, he's
Yeah,
It's like, that was a past life. He got married and was living a happy life with his new wife. That's kind of disrespectful to his current situation, in my opinion.
Right.
But yeah, man, just like I remember watching him when I got older. My brother and sister are like 6 and 8 years apart from me, and they used to watch the Magic School Bus.
Okay.
And Malcolm Jamal Warner was a voice on that show. He would, like, at the end of the episodes, one of the kids would call into a hotline that he was on and basically say, hey, all this shit you did on this episode was bull crap. It would give him, like, tell him why it was nonsense to be going out of space and doing this and this. It was always just entertaining stuff. And yeah, man, he was so much more multifaceted than the Cosby Show. He was on Community a few episodes.
Yeah, yep.
He was on this short-lived sitcom on BET, which was actually a decent family sitcom. Used to date Regina King. And he was, he was just around. And I think he had settled in Atlanta. I'm not sure, but I think they shot The Residence in Atlanta. And one of the things I loved about Malcolm Jamal Warner was how protective he was of his wife and kid. Like, he barely let people take pictures of his daughter's face. He wanted to kind of keep her and shield her out of that. And his wife was just real under the radar. And when you've been around show business long enough, you kind of understand, like, the necessity of that, and also Bill Cosby, we know he's a pariah now, but I do want to point out that I was watching an interview with him on YouTube, and I do believe him when he says this. He said it was like losing his son all over again, because he lost his son Enos Cosby.
Yeah.
90s, and he said it felt like that all over again. I mean, when you get to a certain age, you don't want to be outliving young people, like my nieces and nephews. I would much rather go before them than follow them, and same for if I have children, I don't want them preceding me in death,
Right.
So it's with Malcolm Jamal Warner. Didn't know him, never met him. Was in the same room with him at least a couple times, but just seemed like a very warm and genuine person. The people that I know who I like Karen Molina White, they love him and speak very highly of him. I'm just going to remember him as a good actor. He was always like an actor. There's always these certain actors that, you just see them in shit, man. It's like they just work finds them, like Blair Underwood. As I used to say, like this, he's been on like a bunch of short-lived shows that barely made it past like 6 episodes, and people just love him, producers and all that. They just love him, and I think Malcolm Jamal Warner kind of falls in that same category. It's like, we need black guy. He's youthful, but not that youthful. Old, not that. What's Malcolm Jamal Warner doing, right?
Yeah.
He was always finding work, man. And that's one of the things I respect. And that's what this business is about, too. Show business is finding work, is always being able to find work. And, he was finding work with his poetry,
his music,
his acting. And, he was just definitely. And I could see, he was one of those guys I could actually see, like maybe in his like 50s, 60s, like a late bloomer actor where you get a Oscar nod for something later in life. There's plenty of people like that where, they had careers for like 50 years and don't get an Oscar until like Morgan Freeman was like that, right?
Yeah.
He didn't get that one for the one with Jennifer Garner, and the euthanasia spoilers. Clint Eastwood directed it. I can't think of the name of it, man. $1 Million Baby. That's the one.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's sad that we because we did lose not just a great actor and seemingly a great person, but we lost a whole body of work that he potentially could have starred in that we're never going to see,
Yeah. I think when you talk about his career, one of the things that isn't talked about enough is this dude started off as a child actor on the number one show in the country and didn't follow the path that so many child actors of that time did. Yeah. We never saw Malcolm strung out. We never saw Malcolm arrested. We never saw Malcolm, in these legal battles. And he just went to work. And he very easily, Ray, could have had the attitude of, I'm on the number one show in the world. I'm better than everybody. I don't got to work. I don't have to put in the time. I don't have to work on my craft. I don't have to work on myself as a person. But he did the opposite. Like he was always working, always trying to be better, always trying to be a good man, as he said, Ray. And so, like it's a tragic loss, but the good thing is we still have the memories of him, of his work. You know what I mean? Like he left that for all of us. And like one of my favorite things that he did that lasted maybe 5 episodes before it got canceled was a show called Listen Up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with Jason Alexander.
Yes. So if you don't know about Listen Up, Ray, Listen Up. This was when PTI, pardon the interruption, with Uncle Tony and Uncle Wilbon was like the hottest sports show in the game. And they were so hot that they were like, we need to make this into a sitcom. And Uncle Tony got the short end of the stick because Jason Alexander played fictional Tony Kornheiser. And Malcolm Jamal Warner played fictional Michael Wilbon, which, no offense to Wilbon, is a damn glow up.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, we don't need to even table it with no offense, man. Come on.
Just for the hair alone, it's a glow up, Wilbon.
Just the hair. You got a guy that's like way younger than you, handsome. A bunch of like young teeny bopper girls, his first crush and shit, and he's playing you. Come the fuck on, man. I don't even think that Jason Alexander was.
You think that's a glow up for Tony?
I do. Jason Alexander, when he was in he was actually, in some stuff, outside of Scienceville. He was at Dickhead and Pretty Woman. He was noticeable and stuff.
And he was good in it. Like I think both of them were good in their roles on the show. The show just never. I don't think the show knew what it wanted to be.
Right. Yeah. It was one of those shows that conceptually it sounds like a good idea. It got a full season pickup, so I mean that's more than a lot of shows, but I just don't think it was going to survive in that television landscape. I mean, because there's other shows in a similar vein of that, like Sports Night and stuff like that.
Sports Night was good.
Yeah, it's like they're good shows, but it really does require you to like pay attention to sports to appreciate it a little bit more, you know.
And that was also when sitcoms were kind of changing.
Right, yeah.
Like the structure of sitcoms and
Yeah,
what people
yeah.
expected from sitcoms was starting to change. And it felt like if that show had come out maybe 5 years earlier, like right on the heels of Seinfeld, I think that would have been a bigger hit.
Yeah. And also kind of like we still have some multicam sitcoms. Those are the sitcoms, for those of you who don't know, are the sitcoms with laugh tracks or studio audience and stuff like that. And then the ones that are like live action, like Blackish, that's a single camera sitcom. And that's kind of what the direction the Hollywood's moved in with that. Now there's still some multicam shows, but it's not as frequent as it used to be, you know.
No.
And maybe, and I could even see, I hope not, because I like multicam shows, but I could see a reality where once like The Neighborhood and stuff like that gets canceled, that that we go through an era without those multicam sitcoms.
Yeah. So any final thoughts on Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ray, before we move to our next honoree?
I think you put it perfectly. Just thoughts and prayers out to the family. I know a lot of people say that as a cliche, but honestly, just hopefully that they're enduring this well. It's never going to be easy dealing, especially with a passing of someone that is so close within your inner circle. So I just hope that they continue to find peace, that they're able to put things together, especially with the daughter being so young. And I just hope that families unite and become stronger because of this loss. So
yeah, R.I.P. to Malcolm Jamal Warner.
And Shaq Gaspard died in the same way too.
Yeah, we had talked about that a little bit earlier. Just eerily similar. But yeah, R.I.P. to this brother. He will be remembered, as he said. You know, the Cosby Show gave him immortality, but I think what will resonate even more is just the life that he lived. You know, because life can be a little crazy sometimes, Ray, and sometimes you might even fall onto the crazy train, Ray Williams. That brings us to the next honoree. I don't know why I got so hyped about getting ready to talk about somebody else who died. Coming up next to the stage. I'm like, wait, huh, brother? Bring it down a little bit. Bring it down. But the next person who passed that kind of sent shockwaves throughout social media was Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne, longtime rock legend, one of the preeminent members of Black Sabbath. I think for our generation, we probably, if you weren't already listening to his music, we probably first got introduced or reintroduced to Ozzy through the MTV show with the family. And then ever since then, he's just kind of been a part of pop culture. Had a great farewell tour that was well received. You know, he couldn't even really physically stand for the duration of the show, so they made this crazy throne that he would just sing on, and it would go all around the stage. But yeah, Ozzy Osbourne, one of the most entertaining and eclectic figures in rock or heavy metal, left us as well last week. So any thoughts about Ozzy Osbourne? And we'll start with you, Chris.
Yeah, for me, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Osbournes, but I've seen the show and it was cool. I did meet Sharon and Jack, because Jack has multiple sclerosis as well as me, you know, and I saw them at one of the events out here. Didn't really, you know, I'm sure they don't remember me, but I said what's up, and they were nice. They were cool, and I actually met Kelly too. She was cool as well. Never met Ozzy. His music, it's definitely not music I listen to regularly, but you know the songs, you know, like Crazy Train, that gets sampled, and Iron Man, and,
Mhm.
Yeah.
all those kind of
All the WWE themes.
all
Yep.
the things,
The War Pigs, yeah.
right,
Yep.
yeah, and a lot of those metal guys like just swear by Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
And he seemed like a decent person up until like the end. He started to see, like, even when they hosted that episode of Raw, this isn't any kind of disparagement or disrespect, but he seemed like he didn't know where the fuck he was at,
Yeah.
or what the fuck he was doing. He's just there. He got his check, and but yeah, he's also very associated with wrestling through the Road Warriors, Legion of Doom, using his theme, and then just WWE constantly using songs from Black Sabbath and
Generals gathered in the masses.
yeah,
Just like witches in the like, okay, Ozzy, I feel you on that one.
And I knew he wasn't well, but I didn't know that he was like on the brink of death or anything.
Yeah.
Like, I that's what kind of took me by surprise by his death. I didn't see it coming, but he's in his 70s.
Yeah.
It's by today's standards, a lot of people will consider that young too. But he lived a full life, got to travel the world, made a family, three beautiful children, wife that respected him, that he was able to stay married through all their bullshit. I saw their behind the music a long time ago. So the fact that they were able to stay married is, a testament to the endurance of their relationship, because from that, if I remember that behind the music, I remember both of them had spells of cheating. It wasn't just Ozzy,
right,
with groupies. It was her too, so it was, it happens, shit. Hollywood is not a easy place to maintain a relationship.
Chris knows that 47 times over, Ray. For me though, yeah, much like Chris, like Ozzy and Black Sabbath, like that wasn't my jam. Like that wasn't the music I was looking for. Particularly like in my younger days, like growing up in the church, like it wasn't as bad as it was, like I guess in the 70s and the 80s, but I was still like in the tail end during the 90s of like that's devil music.
Right.
Yeah, don't listen to that. That's devil music. And so Ozzy was still kind of somebody when I was younger that was like, yeah, you don't listen to the devil, man. And then to go from that, Chris, to seeing him on his sitcom, we just like Sharon, like just I think that to me was brilliant. And I don't know whose idea it was, probably Sharon's, for that show, but like because it humanized Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Right.
To a wider audience that may have never listened to a Black Sabbath album. Like that kind of like, yeah, he's this rock legend. He was this like awesome entertainer, but at the end of the day, he's still a dad. And at times like this doddering old man who like, again, opposite of Malcolm Jamal Warner, like that to me was like a life cut short. To Chris's point, yes, we wish Ozzy was still with us, but it was a life lived, man. And a life that I'm sure if you asked Ozzy, he's like, when you were at the height of Black Sabbath, did you think you would live to your 70s? He'd probably be like, hell no, mate. Because of the stuff he was doing at the time, man. Just living wild and living that rock star lifestyle. But yeah, like again, like that's not my cup of tea musically, but he did. Like War Pigs is a banger. Crazy Train is a banger. And then Iron Man. Like Iron Man is legit one of my favorite songs ever. And to show you how cool Ozzy was, Ray Williams, one of my favorite Busta Rhymes songs is I Declare War. And basically it's just Iron Man with a beat behind it.
Yeah.
And
it was a single off of I want to say the 97 or 98 album, right?
Yeah, I think it was the Extinction Level Event.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
'cause
I had
that was a great album, Busta Rhymes Extinction Level Event. There was some real good songs on that one. But I think like what I was like, oh, is that they're just using a sample of Ozzy, and then I'm like reading the liner notes, like, no, that Ozzy re-recorded that joint. For Busta, and I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, obviously, he did it for the money. Like, he was like, I'll do it, but he didn't have to re-record it. He could have just been like, you get a sample, but no, I'm gonna hop in the booth and sing and re-sing my lyrics. So, like, that's a great song.
It was a kind of a favor because it's not like Ozzy needed the money, but the thing is when you sample someone's song, you run them their fucking money. You know, that's the way it goes. You know, so yeah.
And like I said, like he could have just like taken the check, but he was like, nah, let me get on the track, bus. He said it exactly like that, Ray. It was the one time in Ozzy's life he spoke clearly and coherently. He's like, let me get on this, son. Let me show you how Ozzy get down. But no, man, like again, like Ozzy Osbourne is, you can't talk about rock music and particularly the heavy metal genre without mentioning Ozzy and Black Sabbath, you know, as one of their foundational. I'm not gonna go all AEW and say they're one of the pillars of modern rock music, but they are very important to what heavy rock is today.
Yeah, and they're kind of important to even like because their family, we know Sharon has been in her bit of controversy. Even Kelly had some controversy with Rosie Perez on The View. But they were able to kind of parlay that reality show into like healthy careers of their own, you know, in spite of the controversies. Unlike the family that we're going to be probably talking about soon, you know, like in Ozzy Osbourne, his reality show was probably the start of all of that bullshit with like being inside of a family's house. I can't think of it. There were reality shows before that. I just can't think of any that were doing what the Osbournes did.
Especially from a celebrity standpoint.
Right, yeah. And they had so many knockoffs too. Like they even had that girl from Pacific Blue, Shayna Mockler with Travis Barker.
Yep.
And
Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey.
Yeah, like they were not like good shows. And the Jessica Simpson, Nick
Lachey, Tiny, I said it wasn't no good show.
yeah.
Coach Prime.
Don't speak about Coach Prime. By the way, shout out to Dion. I guess he revealed today that he had a cancerous tumor. On his bladder, and they had to have that removed. So, thoughts and prayers to Coach Prime. You know, whether you love him or hate him, he is certainly one of the greatest athletes of our time, and one of the most entertaining coaches of today. Ray Williams. Yes. So watch your mouth when you speak about Coach Prime.
Hey,
God bless you. But Ray Williams, what are your thoughts? Because I know you as a young Raymondo Williams. I know you every night before you went to bed. Mama, can you play Crazy Train one more time? Because that was your favorite song as a young man, as a young boy. What were your thoughts when you heard about the Ozzy Osbourne passing?
Well, I think Chris kind of put the nail right on the head with it. He kind of hit the nail right on the head with it when he talked about a life that was lived, or I think it was you, Nate, that mentioned like it's a life lived. And one of my earliest memories of Ozzy Osbourne, this was MTV before they started airing a bunch of reality programs and pretty much just making that their whole base. But this was when they were actually playing music videos, oddly enough. And they used to, but like in between that, they'll have these shows that kind of like talk about the history, like these countdown shows or these lists of different things. Like I know they had a list of like top 5 or the only singers that had 5-octave range, and they would talk about Mariah Carey, and they talked about Whitney Houston, they talked about Chris Cornell, from Soundgarden
Yeah.
and Audio Slave. So they have like different lists, or they have like the 100 greatest pop songs.
Mhm.
And then there was this one list, like the most 100 shocking moments in rock and roll. And so I'm just around with my family. It was probably like preteen years, like 10, 11, 12. It might have been a little earlier or a little later than that. But I think there was this one moment that they would come to, and they were like, number 76. Ozzy Osbourne bites the head of a crow. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah,
Like, how did this only make 76?
I didn't even know what was going. I didn't know who Ozzy Osbourne was.
You got 75 more that's way wilder than this?
Right?
He did it to a dove, and he did it to
a bat, didn't he?
Yeah, bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know what these white guys. Man, I don't know shit.
So the fact that you made it to your 70s and you out here just biting heads off of animals all willy-nilly, Ozzy, is a blessing and a miracle, brother.
Yeah, you ain't get the animals tested, especially bats, brother. You
ain't catch rabies not once?
Not once. Yeah. But that was my introduction to Ozzy Osbourne. Like, who is this guy? And so they would kind of do like a brief bio and then like leading up to that particular period. So I was like, wow. And so then like earlier, unlike you guys, I kind of was I wasn't into like death metal per se, but I was into like rock and alternative rock and
death metal rave in his teenage years. You don't understand, Mom. It's about the revolution.
Yeah.
Get out of my room, Mom. Like,
right.
Yeah, like my alternative sensibilities were like Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Even early Sugar Ray, not when they became like super poppy, but like
you the hipster, you the Sugar Ray hipster.
Like, well, they're from my
popular.
Yeah, they were from my area. You know, I knew of Sugar Ray before they became like what they became.
When Fly came out, Chris was like, "No, you sold out."
Right.
Fly was my last, like when the 1459 album came out. That's when I was like, yeah, these guys.
They sold out.
Yeah. But I look, man, like the thing about music, though, real talk, your sound does have to evolve as your audience gets bigger and your age gets older. You know. You just can't do the same shit, you know. It loses its credibility, you know. Like people wonder why Ice Cube had to do those children's movies when he got older. This motherfucker's in his like 40s and 50s and shit, you know. It's like that's the natural progression of things.
He tried everything. He even made a record with Korn and y'all didn't like it.
Yeah. So I mean, it just is what it is, and you know. Because that reality show that Ozzy Osbourne did, that was you know a natural progression, you know.
Yeah,
it's like you've done all the shit you could do when you're young. I mean, I'm sure I can't see myself with the energy to be, you know, messing around with groupies. Like I can't really even do that now, but when I'm like, you know, my 50s or 60s, that's the last fucking thing on my mind, man. And it's not even because you're like, in a lot of cases, it's not even because you wouldn't do it. It's just because you actually that takes work.
Yeah, you know? You're too old to be working that hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it just is what it is, but yeah, man.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
yes, back to your rebellious teenage phase.
My
Ray.
rebellious, yes.
Ray's in his room, just Ray's parents sent him to bed without dinner. He just in the room. We're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it. We're not gonna take it from you, Mom. Like, Ray, if you don't turn that music off. Yes, Mama. But go ahead, Ray. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, and then I think this was because he started having kind of like these series of concerts called Ozfest, and so I would hear a lot about them on the radio station that I would listen to when I was kind of growing up, like as a teenager, like in high school, and like they would come to our area, to RFK Stadium, when they were doing concerts and stuff a lot. So I would hear a lot about them like that as well, through those means as well. But like you guys mentioned, I think we got a peek into who the actual person was through the reality show. I would tune in every now and then, but I think, and you kind of made the connection before, Chris, where it's like, oh, you got this person who's kind of like a pioneer within his particular genre. And then in order to reach the masses, let's give them a reality show, and try to make them relatable. And like you said, we'll get into that. we'll see how it was a success on one end and how it was not as much of a success on the other end, despite whatever ratings it may have got.
There's so much evil to we'll get to it.
We're gonna get to it. It's crazy, Ray, that this man Ozzy Osbourne once called himself the Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
And he's not even the worst person on this list. In fact, he's a good person. From all accounts.
He would throw up the devil's horns, but still it's like, oh, that's just Ozzy being Ozzy.
Oh, that's probably why you got sent to bed without dinner, Ray. You throwing up the devil horns at the dinner table. That's not allowed.
Rock on, Mom. It was like, huh?
Like rock your ass on to the bed. So yeah, R.I.P. to Ozzy Osbourne, man. We appreciate you. A life well lived. And let's go from Ozzy coming to the stage. Let's go from Ozzy to what people have been talking, especially in our circles that we navigate. Speaking of going off the rails with a crazy train, let's talk about the last member of the celebrity triumvirate that passed away over the past weekend, and it is none other than Terry Bollea, aka Hulk Hogan. So this is the big one. This is the one people have been hitting me up all weekend. Like, when are you guys gonna talk about Hulk? When are you guys gonna talk about Hulk? Like, we need to hear Nefarious' thoughts on Hulk. We need to hear the NWA guys' thoughts on Hulk. Like, what do you think about this? So we've got thoughts because, again, Ray, a word that was thrown around a lot last week was complicated when we learned of the passing of Terry Bollea. And I would say, like Kate from Montreal, I was on with her on Saturday night for the collision course over at Post Wrestling. And I think she said one of the most poignant things about this, because I was like, if you actually look at who Terry Bollea was, particularly in his final years, it's not complicated at all.
No.
But I understand why some wrestling fans are grappling with this. And she was just kind of like, complicated is a word people often use a lot of times when they're trying to unpack their trauma and unpack their abuse. Like if you grew up in a bad household, like you're like, yeah, my relationship with my parents was complicated. And it doesn't mean your parents were good people, but it's like there are things that you owe to your parents just for being here. But it's also like you kind of have to grapple with stuff. And so I understand there's a lot of people who wouldn't be fans of wrestling if not for Terry Bollea. Like, none of us fall in that category. Maybe Ray does. I'm not sure. I haven't asked him. But like, if Terry Bollea brought you to this thing and now he's gone and you're like, how do I kind of make this work? I understand. It's complicated in a personal sense, Chris. But if we're just looking at the guy, if we're just looking at this human being, it's not complicated at all. I know you got thoughts, Doc. I'm going to let you lead off. Thoughts on the passing of Terry Bollea,
to piggyback off of what you were saying earlier, a lot of, the people that listen to our show were getting at me. Some of them seemed like they couldn't wait for us to like dance on this man's grave. And that's just not me. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Yeah, like
That's what I wanted to say, Chris.
yeah. But it's to me, the word complicated, like Kate said, it's how you people unpack trauma. There was nothing complicated about Hulk Hogan. He was a racist bastard who he wasn't just racist as in I said the N-word, I'm sorry. There wasn't like a Morgan Wallen type situation where he was having fun conversationally using the N-word. Hulk Hogan in those tapes revealed some very deep-seated, dark, racist thoughts that he had that did not share with people until that tape got released,
Right.
And then I was listening to, I didn't hear the whole thing. I do want to hear all of Brooke Hogan's. I'd actually want to interview Brooke Hogan too.
Yeah.
But she said in the tape, like, this dude, she hated her because she was dating a black guy. Like, that was out of her mouth, She hadn't talked to him in 2 years. She was estranged from him, but she did say the last thing she said to him 2 years ago was that she loved him.
Right.
People don't understand these like parental dynamics sometimes. And I could kind of relate to Brooke because I've had issues like this with my own mother. Me and my mom are on speaking terms because I made it a point to, straighten out what was going on with us. But, there are times in people's lives where, you have done all you can and like you're an adult now and you don't need people passing judgment on you. If you want to date a black guy, that's your business. That's not your dad's business. And I'm sure hearing that tape, as crazy as it was for us, because we have fun with that shit. I still remember that day. It was dark and horrible, but we've been milking that shit for years.
That was and to this day, Andrew Thompson said one of his favorite memories of being on the podcast is when he was first on the NWA podcast when it was part of the Kings of Sport Network, and we were talking about this Hogan thing because it was right afterwards, I think.
Yeah,
and I was just like, my biggest thing is, Terry, you just finished sleeping with your best friend's wife. I've never seen somebody be so mad during the refractory period. Like, how you gonna just drop some N-words during the refractory period, my brother?
Yeah. And for me, it was the dropping of the N-words, but also just the undertones of it,
Yeah.
I can forgive N-word use. I got no problem doing that. I've done it before. They get a stern talking to.
I think one of the
shit.
like I'm thinking of in particular about the tape with Nick Hogan when Nick was in jail, when Hulk is like, I just don't want to see you turn out like some of these Blizzak guys. Like, that to me may have been as offensive, if not more offensive, than the N-word. Because
Tried to use Carney.
Trying to use the Carney with your kid that's in jail. Don't end up like those Blizzak guys, brother.
Yeah, and I did a whole timeline because I asked ChatGPT to give me a timeline of all of Hulk Hogan's fuckery. And it's a long list of it, he's like, this guy just, we're going to talk about some of the good things he did, but he did just so much evil in his last 10 years. He was never sorry for using the N-word, or even having the thoughts that he had. And when he saw MAGA becoming a thing, he could have drew his line in the sand and been like, I don't stand for any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Instead, he did the opposite. He was like, these are my people. He found the mothership when he joined that MAGA movement. And for someone like me, that can never be forgotten. I can I can appreciate the stuff that I like about him. I think the complicated part is just reconciling, because I don't think his legacy is complicated. I think
No.
complicated part is people reconciling the stuff they liked about him versus the stuff that was detestable. And
real quick, Chris, I'm just going to cut in real quick and I'll let you finish because I want to bring up something that I re-skeeted on Blue Sky the other day. So Dave Zirin, editor of The Nation and a great writer from out of Chicago that normally covers sports, wrote about Hulk Hogan the day he passed. And his words, Ray, were Hulk Hogan should be remembered as a living expression of our national decay. A hero exposed as a fraud exposed as a coward, and finally, a coward who cried with joy upon finding an authoritarian monster to tell him that his sins were in fact his biggest virtues. And I was like, damn, Dave, like, damn. So what do you think about that? And also, continue about what you're saying about Hulk's legacy, Chris.
I mean, that's 100% true. You know what I'm saying? It's like we all have to draw our lines in the sand at some point in our life. And we might have to do it at multiple points in our life where we're at a fork in the road, decide which one we're going to walk past. Two roads diverged in the yellow wood, the line in the sand, all that shit applies. And when it's time to do that, which side are you going to be on? You know, and Hogan took the easy way out.
Yep.
I don't know if Hogan. I really do. Hogan was such a disingenuous person that, like, I mean, even till the last week of his life were shrouded with lies that his people were telling the public, you know, because it's like the guy was on the brink of death, you know. I do kind of believe Jimmy Hart when he said the last time he talked to him, they sounded excited about the future and stuff like that. But I mean, the guy was not well, you know. I think the truth was closer to what Bubba the Love Sponge was saying more than it was to everybody else, you know. The last topic we covered on this show, not this, like last month, was the beef he had with Benjamin Shelton, you know. This guy did not know how to stop lying. Lying was second nature to this guy. It was when the truth was the easiest thing to do, he always chose lying. And that's something that, you know, you can't ever forget about him, you know.
Sounds like somebody else I know.
Chris, let me just, if I could just interject a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
That right there is kind of how I don't see how this is complicated, because this brother, his public persona was so manicured, and like he would go to any lengths to boost up the public persona of his character. But in the one instance that he's being vulnerable and he's being truthful is the instance where he kind of reveals himself to be this bigot and this it's like, this is how we found out the truth about you. And you can say all this stuff about, oh, well, I didn't mean for it to go out, and I didn't mean, like, you got to watch what you say behind closed doors. You never know. That's not the point. The issue is that you felt comfortable enough to reveal the truth about yourself when we literally go through line after line after line that you tell on camera or every time that you're in a public space to make yourself seem like a bigger than life character.
Right. And the thing that was killing me with this shit is that I understand if there was a mitigating circumstance behind him using the N-word, I'd still be pissed, but I'd be like, well, his daughter did just get assaulted by a black guy, so she went through some trauma. Or his wife got mugged by a couple
like
black
your man's
guys.
Liam Neeson.
Right, yeah. Something like that. This guy was in, like we were talking about on this show when it happened. This was after sex, where you're usually the most chill.
The refractory period, Ray. Refractory.
Yeah, and he was just casually talking about how much he hates these N-words, and the only way he'd see value in his daughter being with the N-word is if it was a rich N-word, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
This was this guy's thoughts, and that's why I don't understand why people like they get upset with those of us who have a problem with it, you know? He did not give a sincere apology. He wasn't sorry about it. The only way he would have been sorry about it is if he lived long enough to get a few more reactions like he got in Los Angeles. And where the boos were just going. This kind of reminds me of the Epstein files, right? Because since we talked about it on the NWA podcast, that noise has gotten louder. Trump has tried to hide from it. He flew to Ireland. Every time he gets a chance, he tries to change.
Don't forget about Obama in Russia. Obama's in Russia.
Right, yeah. And then I wrote an article on that too that's going to be published by Lincoln Square also, on him diverting to blaming black people to get him out of this mess, because that's the racist instinct, that's the racist reflex these motherfuckers have, you know. And Hogan was trying for the longest time. He was doing that. It wasn't LA was not the first time he got booed.
He got booed in Tampa.
He got
his hometown.
Yeah, like the boos were getting louder.
Yep.
It didn't matter if they were in a red state or a blue state. They were getting louder. It didn't matter if it was a MAGA wrestler or a non-MAGA wrestler. Hogan was not respected by his contemporaries. He was respected as, he brought the business to the next level. You know, people are kind of waxing poetic about him now that he's gone, but like, he was not a good guy. He just wasn't. You can't, and you can try to change it into this guy like stopping people from forming unions. He was happy that he was getting his piece of the pie. Damn the rest of you motherfuckers. I'm eating well. Stop people from getting pushed. When he was leaving to go to WCW, would not put over Bret the Hitman Hart. Cut that promo for New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is actually one of my favorite Hogan promos, where he talks about the WWF Championship and he compares it to a trinket, a toy on a Christmas tree. What I really want is the IWPG title. Basically trying to leverage I don't feel sorry for McMahon, but this was the kind of person that he was. You know?
He didn't want to put over Sting at Starrcade, man.
Didn't want to put over Sting. Didn't want to put over Bret Hart. Some people were saying he should have tapped to Bret Hart in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania 9. I would have been happy if he just got pinned. If Bret Hart did that pin where he kicks himself off of the top rope, hooks him into a pinfall, I wouldn't have been mad at that. But Hogan was a selfish person, man. The people he was most comfortable around were other lackeys. He was not comfortable around his equals. People like Macho Man didn't seem to like him. He loved Brutus Beefcake, and even they were beefing when he died. He was cool with like the Virgils of the world. He was cool with, you know, Knobs from the Nasty Boys, maybe Sax too. Just people that would kiss his ass and tell him he was the greatest person. But you could start to see why he latched onto MAGA so like well as he was dying. This Real American Wrestling is gonna be a fucking flop. It was gonna be a flop if it was alive, so you don't have to blame. Don't. If Eric Bischoff or Jimmy Hart or any of those people start saying, "Well, if Hogan was here, we would have had a better." No, you wouldn't have. This shit was a dumb idea.
You may have gotten 3 more episodes if Hulk was here. That's about it.
Yeah. It's destined to be a flop. The fact that you guys have like enablers like trying to get that bullshit off the ground just says a lot about the profession of wrestling. You know, it's just like, why are you trying to like give this shit legs? And you're like, oh, it's giving guys jobs. Yeah, jobs for a plantation owner. You know, it's like when do we settle with those scraps, right? Like I'm all for people working, but I don't need them working for Leonardo DiCaprio's character in fucking Django.
The Candy. Was it Clarence Candy or something?
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, but yeah, I don't need that shit, man. If you get a job, man. I mean, Vince McMahon is. We already had one plantation owner in wrestling.
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon was a plantation owner. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. The way he stood over Trish Stratus and had her bark like a dog, that was straight out of fucking antebellum South. You know what I'm saying? What they used to do to the black women that they used to rape. They would, you know, have to talk down to them to make themselves feel better about getting with slave women, you know? So, I mean, and then Hogan, I guess, you know, trying to bring it back to the plantation South, coming on Fox Nation. Come on, man. Like, you know.
Well, and Ray is sitting here wondering, like, what does this do for my stock in Real American Beer, guys?
No, I actually would put a little bit of stock not in the beer, but in the wrestling, because it's not like a professional wrestling promotion, but it's for amateur wrestlers. And with me being a follower of amateur wrestling and also being a volunteer coach for our high school's wrestling team, like I was really interested because they did have some big time names. Like
Ray said, he's trying to be the Real American Wrestling Freestyle Champion. Chris, stop messing with his dreams.
I don't want them problems. They said Gabe Stevenson's supposed to be up there. I ain't trying to mess with that man. But they got like some big time names within the world of
amateur
wrestling, but in terms of folk style and Olympic style wrestling, like I said, Gabe Stevenson, Kyle Snyder, who actually has some baggage of his own, but former Olympian as well. Kennedy Blades, who's becoming like a big time breakout star within women's wrestling, and so they had like some decent names attached to it. Chael Sonnen, who was going to be one of the commentators.
So the thing with these amateur promotions, and this has been tried before. Hogan isn't the first person to do this with amateur wrestling. There was a promotion in, I want to say the 2000s or the 90s. It was called Real Professional Wrestling, and basically it was just amateur wrestling, and they got a bunch of big names to do it, and maybe it lasted on, I want to say ESPN or Fox Sports, when the regional Fox Sports, you know, not FS1. It did not last for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, wrestling is just not a sport like that, you know. Like, put it this way: when you are when you are a skater, when you are a skateboarder, or you're doing MMA or anything like that, there was a time, and not until Dana White fucked it up, but where people would pay you to just wear their brands to the Octagon, the Mat, whatever.
Yep, yep.
No one's doing that with amateur wrestling. If they could, they would, but it's just not. That's just no one's doing that because nobody's going to be watching it like that, you know.
That's true.
So it's you know, we'll see what happens with it, but you know, it's, you know, people like professional wrestling because of the characters, you know.
Right.
That's the thing, and people watch MMA for the hope of seeing someone that you don't like get their ass beat, you know.
Right.
Wrestling isn't and I used to wrestle. Wrestling isn't a sport where you beat somebody up. It's a sport where you grapple them, you get pins, you know, you score off of points and stuff like that. But nobody gets their ass beat after a wrestling match. The worst that happens is you get tired and winded, and you know, somebody might sneak in a few scratches on you and shit. But you know, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's not as exciting as a sport to pull in like casual fans. If you've been a fan of amateur wrestling, then you're most definitely gonna be down. But what about the other 70 or 80% of sports fans who just come across and like, why are these dudes hugging each other? What is going like? There's no like big excitement around it. And like you said, the characters is what brings people into pro wrestling. Like you got some people like Pat Downey, who's kind of like a character in and of his own right, or AJ Ferrari, who is a good character. But by and large, most of like amateur wrestlers, they're just like boring guys, and they're just like they let their actions on the mat speak for themselves. But I'm glad you brought up Eric Bischoff, brother Chris, because for one, when asked on X if Real American freestyle wrestling was going to be still going on, he says, quote, "The show must go on." So but also I wanted to go through some of the tributes by mixed martial artists or by combat sports luminaries. There it is. That's the word. As well as pro wrestling luminaries who had some very good things to say in the wake of Hulk Hogan's passing. So we got here. First off, we were talking about Tampa. And your boy Titus O'Neil weighed in. My condolences to the family of Hulk Hogan. As a legendary figure in professional wrestling, he helped shape the industry and inspire generations of fans and athletes. His impact in sports and entertainment will be remembered for years to come. Then you have George St. Pierre, former UFC welterweight champion and middleweight champion. They say you should never meet your idols, but meeting Hulk Hogan made me admire him even more. He was so generous with his time and an inspiration, not only as an athlete and entertainer, but also as a human being. He will be missed by us all. R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. You wanted to say something, Chris?
You leave this up for a second. So I like the comparison between the two.
Yes.
GSP is like glowingly praising this piece of shit Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Titus O'Neil left the most obvious statement on the
company
man. You know, he didn't pay him any compliments. He basically is basically stating the obvious.
He basically did what Tony Schiavone did on Collision the other night. He's like, we just want to take a moment and remember Hulk Hogan, who passed away. He was one of the biggest, most influential stars in wrestling. This is tough for a family. We want to send thoughts out to his family. Rest in peace, brother. It's like,
it's one of those things, man. But I just want to just point that out.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if someone, if Titus O'Neil got shotgunned into leaving that statement.
I love the fact that he put that picture up, because it's just like, I feel like this is a little bit of subversion going on here.
Yeah.
With Titus, where he's like, And this is what we talked about with Kate, what I talked about with Kate the other night. Like, yes, you cannot, like, regardless of how you feel about Terry Bollea, you cannot make the claim that Hulk Hogan is not one of the most influential people in this business's history. Like, that's a fact. But I think Titus is just like, like y'all know what he was, but you also know what he was, and that's why I'm gonna put this picture here. Because if you know about this picture, then you'd really know what he was. And it's like, I see you, Titus.
It's so transparent and stuff. And we'll talk about some of the. I'm sure we're going to talk about the memories that we like with Hulk Hogan. I'm going to do it at least,
Yeah. Well, save it, Chris. It may come up later when we at the pond, Chris.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm not going to, just because he passed away, pretend like this guy was something that he wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, continue on with the tributes from the luminaries. All right. So, hold on. So, Kevin Nash, now the only surviving member of the original NWO. I lost another brother. Icon doesn't even touch it. Rest in power, my friend. NWO for life and beyond.
I'll call Nash as sincere. Now, read the next one, please.
Shawn Michaels is quoting a tweet from Triple H with his announcement or with his condolences for Terry. But Shawn Michaels says, a legend, a larger-than-life presence. Hulk Hogan didn't just work in the business, he transformed it. Rest in peace.
These are not real.
They're like surface level, yeah.
They ain't real broke up about it, is what you're saying, Chris.
Right, yes. These are not like tribute tweets, man.
Okay. So Chris, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
So in this hypothetical scenario that should never happen,
right?
Let's say you pass away, Brother Marcus passes away, and the Cheese Man passes away. Maybe he chokes on some Gouda or something, and that was wrong. And I'm the only one left. If my tribute tweet for you, Chris, was, man, lost another brother. Chris didn't just work at the Nefarious Media Network. He transformed it. I'll see you later. Like, come on, Chris. You know that ain't no real tribute.
These are just like, it's just the gradations between these tweets and stuff, man.
You got Shivani's, Ray? You got Shivani's queued up?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a good one.
That to me was the best one.
That was the best one. I'll put that one up, but that's, guys, I'm building us up. So, like you said, Chris, you have different levels. You have some people who are completely sincere. You have other people. I don't know why. Is that? Oh, sorry. That's on here. That's do you? I had to, for some reason I got like a second window for StreamYard up, and it started playing like the last Parley episode, and then I started hearing like dog. I was like, Taraji, calm down. We're not doing that no more. All right.
We already did it.
But yes, you had, like you said, you had a spectrum of responses from completely sincere to kind of seemingly manufactured to I'm just saying this so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
And then you got Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff, thanks for the house, Hulkster. This brother just told you all it was. Like, I don't care about the human being, but hey, he put butts in seats. He got us paid. Thank you, Hulk.
P.S. The show must go on. Real American Freestyle Wrestling coming soon.
Yeah, if anybody should be grateful for Hogan's contributions, Vince McMahon and Eric Bischoff especially, because WCW was dying a death in the early 90s. Even though I actually love WCW 91 and 92.
Yeah.
I think those are underrated years for it. But by the time 93, when the Bill Watts era the spin the wheel, make the deal foolishness, and all that stuff. It was dying a death. Hogan put him on life support in his early years. When he joined the NWO, that's what put them on the map.
Yes.
You know, and if it was anybody else that was booking that wasn't the idiot Eric Bischoff was, WCW probably still be around, you know.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So I'm trying to sift through Tony Schiavone just ripping through people for I guess responding to his well. All right.
So to set it up, somebody on Twitter on X asked like, "Hey Tony, aren't you going to say anything about Hulk Hogan's passing? Like, wasn't he like a good friend of yours?"
Yeah. Where'd they get that from?
Yes.
To which Tony Schiavone replied,
I wish I could. I know. I see what you're doing there.
I was trying to give you some time, Ray Williams.
Well, I'm sifting through. It looks like he might have.
Did he delete?
Oh,
did
here
he
we
tweet and delete?
Nope, no, he did not. I thought he did. He did not. Let me go
Stand
ahead.
on business, Schiavone.
All right, share screen. So go ahead. Rewind. Cut.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, Chris, but a fan had tweeted at Tony Schiavone, and he was just asking him, like, "Hey, aren't you going to say anything about the Hulkster passing? Like, wasn't he a good friend of yours? Weren't you guys buddies?" To which Tony Schiavone said, Ray Williams.
Tony Schiavone said, got it on the wrong page. All right, here we go. Long-time friend, no. Co-worker, yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Case closed.
That's how a lot of people felt about this guy. I think people like create these dream scenarios in their heads where, you know, their favorite guy gets along with every other wrestler in the business, and they're just respected and loved and adored, especially those racist MAGA ones, like Jason Aledo probably, where they think like this Hogan was not a good person. I keep trying to tell this to people. It doesn't matter what city they were in, those boos were gonna get worse. There's a reason why he wasn't on that episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, or why he wasn't on subsequent episodes of Saturday Night's Main Event, because it just would have been bad optics for WWE. You know, we gotta call a thing a thing.
Yeah.
If we're not gonna do anything else, that's we owe it to ourselves to do at least that.
Yeah. I think when you look at Terry Bollea, and I kind of start to wind down this part of the show, but I think when you look at Terry Bollea, Chris, when he passed, I got a lot of messages in my inbox on various forms of social media, and those responses, Ray, were all over the board. Like I had some people who may be very close to us were literally dancing, not literally because the grave wasn't dug yet, but they was dancing on the metaphorical grave.
Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
That's not what they said exactly, Ray, but the sentiment was there. They were very happy. Man was no longer with us. I had a few friends on the other side that were just crestfallen and heartbroken and felt like a piece of themselves was no longer here. But for the most part, the majority of the people that hit me up were kind of like where I was when I heard the news. Like, to Terry Bollea's own words, it's just kind of like, what you gonna do? Like, that's how I felt about it. It's like no sadness, no anger, no joy. It's just like, okay, it sucks, I guess. And I think that to me is the enduring legacy of Terry Bollea. It's like, you did all these great things in the wrestling business. Yeah, you was this big star. But at the end of the day, what did you do with your life? And if you look down right here, Ray's got it on the screen. Terry Bollea, a.k.a. Hulk Hogan, 8/11/1953 to 7/24/2025. Also, I'm kind of glad that I don't have to share a birthday with Hulk anymore. Sorry, brother. Sorry, brother. I don't know which way you're going, brother. That's between you and the big brother upstairs. But when you look at that date, man, and when you look at a tombstone, when you look at an obituary, one of the questions my dad always told me back in the day, and even to this day, like my birthday's coming up, and he sends me this text around my birthday every year. How's your dash going? What are you doing with your dash? What do you want to do with your dash? And for those that don't know, when you look at somebody's birth date and death date, the thing in the middle is the most important thing. That's the dash, because it signifies a life that has been lived. And if you look at Terry Bollea's dash, Chris, what you see is a lot of selfishness. What you see is a lot of what can I do for me versus what can I do for we. What you see is, yes, this performer that, you know, had a lot of great moments on screen, but you also see this person that had an inability to be genuine, an inability to be honest, to be truthful. You see a person that harbored these thoughts about race and harbored these thoughts about the way America should be. You see, and Ray brought this point up on social media a few days ago. You see this person that could not separate character from person, to the point where when he goes to the RNC, Chris, they don't announce, hey, Terry Bollea is coming to the RNC. No. Hulk Hogan is coming to the RNC. And I feel like, you know, we've had plenty of MAGA superstars in the world of professional wrestling. Undertaker, Kane, EC3 on these streets, Raquel Gonzalez, Raquel Rodriguez, shout out to MAGA Mommy. Our girl Nikita Lyons, MAGA the Stallion on these streets. You know, so like conservatives and even MAGA conservatives in wrestling is not a new thing. What made it different for Hulk Hogan, in my opinion, Chris, my opinion, Ray, is that he took the character of Hulk Hogan and infused it with his MAGA leanings, infused it with his views on the world, infused it with the way he treated people. And I think that is what sticks out to people. And there's a reason why his final moments in this business that he helped to build was being booed out of a damn stadium. Now, anything he did in the ring, Chris, they wasn't booing him because his matches wasn't good. They wasn't booing him because of his promos. They were booing him because he was a terrible person who was on the wrong side of history.
And contrary to what he said, he was not playing heel. He was that night.
And then that's, to me, Chris, is the kind of the legacy of Hulk Hogan. Like, obviously the wrestling stuff is going to be the majority of his legacy, but you can't extricate the last 5 years of his life from the totality of that dash, because that's kind of like, so that was the real you the whole time, Terry. And there's a reason, like, a lot of fans who grew up loving Hulk Hogan will never be cool with Terry Bollea. And so, like it's not complicated, ladies and gentlemen. Like, it's not complicated when we're looking at who Hulk Hogan is, when we're looking at who Terry Bollea was. And so, like, this is not a complicated issue. It's not something we got to wrestle with. It's not something that I've got to spend up nights just thinking about, like, how am I supposed to feel about Terry Bollea? He may have given you some good moments as a performer, but you feel the way about Terry Bollea that you feel about anybody that is racist, about anybody that holds on to extreme views, about anybody that is undermining the beliefs of the country that they say they love. And so for me, I'm not dancing on his grave, Chris. I'm not happy that Terry Bollea is no longer with us. I just think it's sad the way that this ended up for him, because he is the one who could have changed the narrative about himself. If he had taken accountability, Chris, if he had said, instead of saying, the lesson I learned through all of this, brother, you got to watch what you say because cameras are all around. Like, that ain't the lesson, Terry. The lesson is try to be a better person. The lesson is try to be a better human being. Like, if you believe in all this real American gaga, brother, if you believe in all of that, then live up to what you've been trying to tell these kids all these years, what you've been trying to tell these fans all these years. And so for me, Chris, there is no like, sadness, like, oh man, we lost a good one. It's like, no, a person who wasn't a good person died. He made a lot of memories for a lot of people because of what he was on TV, but that was not who he was in real life. And so it's up to history to judge Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I agree. I think, history is going to judge this guy. Like you said, he wasn't a good person. And I think people because people were like, well, why isn't anyone doing this to the Ultimate Warrior or whoever else and stuff? I think the difference between the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan is Ultimate Warrior. He said some shit too before he
Yes.
died.
Mhm.
But I think he's looked at more as a guy who went to work and wanted to go the fuck home. I don't think he was like, I don't think he played the political games that Hulk Hogan played. Ultimate Warrior was he operated under a real simple cognition, right? Run him his money, or he was going to go the fuck home.
Yep.
It was really that simple with that guy. And I think there's, there's some respect to be had for that. I know people said that he messed up paydays because of it, but Ultimate Warrior is his own person.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Hulk Hogan actively made sure guys did not get more over than he was.
Actively fought against the unionization.
Yeah, actively fought against unionization. Actively fought against certain guys getting pushed. Actively, if you were one of his lackeys, that is what you were gonna stay your whole career.
Right.
Not saying Ed
ceiling.
Leslie, Brutus Beefcake was a good wrestler, but once he became Hogan's lackey, that was his job.
Right.
His job was, he was a Hogan gopher. That was that's what he was put on earth to do. Jimmy Hart, yeah.
Yep. And I'm glad you kind of made that comparison with him and with Warrior. Another comparison that I saw made, and this one was by Andy Murray from World Culture Wrestling, and shout out to Andy and those guys.
Yeah.
One comparison and contrast that he made that I thought was spot on was Jay Briscoe. Jay Briscoe said some things about the LGBTQ plus community online, and he numerous times dropped the F word, the slur against.
Remember it well,
right? And so the difference between him and Hogan is that with Jay, once people confronted him and said, "Hey, that's not right. You got to get it together." Instead of doubling down, this brother listened. He heard them out, and then he realized the error of his ways. I think he donated to some causes that were friendly to LGBTQ rights, and he saw the error of his ways. Like you said, Nate. And I hate, first off, miss me with the, "Oh, everybody not perfect. You ain't perfect. He wasn't perfect." Miss me with all that. Are you trying to progress and become a better person?
Right.
When I look, these statements were made in 2006. The video was leaked in, I want to say, 2012. And
it was 2015. This is an ironic thing about this. Hogan died on the anniversary.
Anniversary.
Yep. 10-year anniversary.
Audio.
10 years anniversary.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, Chris, because Mike Mills, shout out to brother Mike Mills from Booking the Territories, another excellent podcast y'all should check out. But Mike Mills hit me up over the weekend. He was like, "Nate, it's crazy. 10 years to the day of that tape coming out is when Terry passed. And then 2 days or 3 days after that was the first time I asked you to be a guest on Booking the Territories, and we talked about Hogan. And that was like the first time me and Mike Mills had connected. And I was like, you know what, brother? At least one good thing came out of that sex tape, and that's me and Mike Mills' friendship."
Right, yeah. Because I remember, like, I was going through my Facebook memories a couple days ago, and that was one of the things that came up because I posted all on Facebook on that whole day, and it was Terry's apology, and I was like, this bullshit artist and all this other stuff. And yeah, he died on the anniversary of that shit, man, which is just absolutely nuts, man. It's call it serendipitous, karma, whatever,
But the point I was making, but yeah, I think that was the anniversary of the audio that came out. But the point I made was that was almost, I think, when he actually said it was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Between that time and when it came out, how did he improve as a person? Did he improve as a person?
Yeah.
Did he want to get himself together? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then when it comes out, and then fast forward 10 years to now that he passed, has he become a better person since then?
Mhm.
Has he learned from his actions? Has he progressed? Has he tried to correct himself and not fall into those same pit holes? If we look at like the last few years of his life, it doesn't look that way. And so miss me with the whole, oh, nobody's perfect, but are you trying to be better? And I think you said it, Nate. Are you trying to be a better man? Are you trying to be a better person? Are you trying to be a better human being to those around you? Only he can answer. Well, only he could have answered that question up until his final breath. So, but with all the evidence that we see, it doesn't look like that was the case.
And the crazy thing is, everything about Hulk Hogan's public life, everything about Hulk Hogan's public life was a work. Whether it's him being in the ring, Chris, whether it's him and his stints in Hollywood, whether it's him, spinning lie after lie after lie in this novel, in his autobiography to try to tell people about his life, whether it's a reality show, whether it is, this MAGA thing, because spoiler alert, Hulk Hogan really wasn't into no damn politics.
Right, yeah.
He found another group of marks
Right.
that he could get to cheer him on and stroke his ego and buy his products. Again, so Hulk Hogan, from the beginning to the end, was a worker through and through. And so then the question is, the one time it was a shoot, brother.
Yeah.
The one time it was a shoot is when we saw the real you. And a lot of people don't rock with that. And there's a reason why these conversations have been coming out. And it's not just after you pass. We were having these conversations 10 years ago. We were having these conversations 5 years ago. And so now that your life has a period, there is no longer a dash that is being lived. And we have a finite end to the Terry Bollea story. A lot of people have their minds made up. And unfortunately for you, like, they don't have a positive view of you. The last thing I'll say on this, Chris, is because I don't want to come off as insensitive to his family.
Right.
Especially Brooke. Like, I think Brooke was cool, like in TNA. Again, TNA, a company that Hulk Hogan almost killed because of his selfishness. Let's not forget where he had the owner of the company on her knees, literally begging this man to stay in the company in one of his final appearances on TNA because of his ego. But Brooke, his family, I do feel for them. I do feel for somebody like a Sting.
Yep.
Who I think we all can say Steve Borden is a good person. And he came out with some heartfelt words about Hulk. And while I don't agree with them, I don't know their relationship, but I also think Sting is somebody who tries to see the best in everybody. So I have no problem with Sting's words about Terry Bollea. But for everybody else who's like, oh, you need to show more respect to Terry. You need to show more reverence and you need to lionize his contributions to the business. Nobody's taking anything away from what Hulk Hogan meant to the professional wrestling industry. But we ain't got time to lionize somebody who, to his final day, to his last breath, was out here living a lie. Living a lie. And again, like, nobody's perfect, Ray, but we can all try to be better. And I never once had the sense that Terry Bollea was interested in getting better, Chris.
Right, yeah. The last thing I'll say on this is in 2015, when he got caught on that hot mic, seeing that stuff, he tried to avoid the topic as much as he could.
Yep.
Then once, even in 2000, he kind of shut up. Once MAGA became a thing again, is when he decided to jump on the MAGA bandwagon. This guy was such a wimp with even his bigotry that he put so political with his bigotry. He didn't want to jump on MAGA until he saw that it was a trendy thing to do for some people. And that was an opportunity he was looking at for also, you know. Hogan is the kind of piece of shit, and I hate saying it like this, but he's the kind of guy who, like Donald Trump, he cares about other rich people. He doesn't care about the working class man. He doesn't care about or didn't care about, you know, regular people, you know. And this is just stuff that he's kind of admitted to, you know. You know, I remember what he did with the marketer for his his beer, you know. It's like
allegedly.
Like legacy is more, well, he's dead now, so now I can say he did it and not get sued.
He's got you there, Ray. He's got you there.
I don't know.
That
Don't let Brooks see this.
Yeah, that kind of stuff only applies to living people. Once they pass
That
away,
statute of limitations is passed. It's forever, Chris.
You can say what you want to say about them. But yeah, man, it's just, I mean, it's just story after story after story about this. So, you know, got to get that away. When y'all are ready to talk about the cool stuff he did, man, I don't know if on this episode or whatever episode, I'll talk about that too. I got no problem giving Hulk Hogan his due, because he was a part of some very cool. My earliest memory of Hulk Hogan was my uncle was him first joining the WWF in '84. You know, I was 3 years old, and my uncle put on a tape of Bob Backlund calling him to the ring. And now that I look at it as an older thing, it's like, oh, if I'm Bob Backlund, I'm like, yeah, I'm about to get replaced. You know,
Hold on, you want me to train my replacement?
Right.
Yeah. So it's just it's iconic moments, but he's awesome. We got to put in perspective his being, you know.
Yes, and again, the thing is, we didn't do that. The people didn't do that. Terry Bollea did that.
Yeah.
So that's the reason. Like, if you want to blame somebody, why are people having these conversations? Why can't people just talk about the good stuff? It's because of what he did.
Right.
So,
and
go ahead, Ray.
If I could just have one last word on it. We were talking earlier that it's kind of coincidental that it's 10 years after the audio of the tape is released, because one other person made that observation, and that's friend of the program and friend of the network, SB3 from True Hill Heat. And so, I'm bringing this up because a legacy is what you leave behind and how you have affected people. And so,
okay,
I'm going to bring up the tweet for SP3. So pretty much he mentions exactly what you said, Nate, or I think it was you, Chris. Hulk Hogan dying on the 10-year anniversary of his racist rant caught on tape is crazy work, I must say. And this is how one of Hulk Hogan's quote unquote fans responded in that tweet. The gentleman on the left, I am not familiar with, but it looks like a mugshot with surrender plastered on his face. And then the picture to the right is Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
These are the people that 45, 47, these are the people that he and Hulk Hogan have emboldened because of their celebrity and because of their complicity with going along with everything. These are the people that they have emboldened, that they have pretty much endorsed for them to go ahead and say these things and to post things out in public. This is the legacy. This is part of the legacy that man has.
Yep. So again, to close out this segment, just by saying RIP to Malcolm Jamal Warner, RIP to Ozzy Osbourne. And I was gonna say R.I.P. to Terry Bollea Ray, but that doesn't work for me, brother. So let's go from somebody with some messed up family dynamics to maybe a family on the rise, Ray. Because I went to the movies today, Chris, and I want to give a spoiler-free review of this latest Marvel movie. Do you know what the name of it is, Ray?
Fantasy, Fantastic Voyage, fan fiction, fan something.
See,
Remind me.
the thing is, Ray, I'm glad you didn't say it because you're not allowed to say the name of this movie. I didn't know if you knew that.
Oh,
you are not,
okay.
Chris, you are not allowed to say the name of this movie. Okay, people watching, people listening, you are not allowed to say the name of the latest Marvel Cinematic Universe movie that is in theaters right now. You know why, Ray?
Why is that?
Because we know Mickey got shooters, we know Feige got shooters, but I found out this week that Michael Giacchino got shooters on these streets. So you can't say the name of this movie. You got to sing it, Ray. Because today I saw Fantastic Four. I seen the Fantastic Four, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Do you plan to see it?
I do. I'm not a fan of the Fantastic Four as a comic. I'll see the movie because I always end up seeing the superhero movies, but I'm not like in a rush to see that the way I was with like Superman or something like that, you know.
And we know Ray is always late to the party, so Ray ain't seen it yet. But I'll give my brief spoiler-free review of Fantastic Four. I really enjoyed it. I'm not one of these people who is like, "Oh, Marvel's back," because in my opinion, Marvel never left. The movies, much like the comics, are kind of there are main storylines, and then there are side stories, and you can pick and choose what you choose to engage with. But I thought that Fantastic Four was a very, very good film. Like, it's easily the best Fantastic Four movie ever made, Chris, which is not a high bar, I know.
Yeah.
But it's easily the best. Like, just the characterization of the family with Sue, Reed, Johnny, and Ben. Like, to me, they felt like a family. And the movie takes place after they've been superheroing for a while, which I appreciate. I know some people kind of want like origin stories in their superhero films, but I kind of feel like at this point in the game, we kind of know. We kind of know about these characters' backstories. Like, I ain't got to see Batman's mama and daddy get shot down in the alley 57 times to tell me, oh, that's why he do what he do, right?
Yeah. I
Childhood
like
trauma.
the way the Batman Begins did that.
Yeah.
Because they told the story in flashbacks, you know.
Yes. Like, if you can tell the story in flashbacks or during the opening credits, that's fine.
Right, yeah.
But I don't need a 40-minute extended scene. Give me your purse, lady. No, don't take her purse. Thomas, don't do that. What's going on, mama? Stay back, Bruce. Stay back. Bang, bang. Oh, now I got to fight crime because my parents is dead. Let me grab this necklace that my mama dropped all dramatically. Oh. Cut to Bruce in the mansion.
And they like with these superhero origin story movies, they never like deviate from the origin story. So I wouldn't mind it so much if someone like put on their own twist on it, you know, like show like either Bruce Wayne after, you know, certain circumstances or whatever, like in a movie. They just usually just show that just to show how he became Batman. Nobody needs to see that shit.
It's just Thomas and Martha.
Yeah.
How do you know that name, Ray? How do you know that name? But back to Fantastic Four. Some parents who didn't die in the movie. Sue Storm and Reed Richards, played by Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal. I think when the casting was announced, a lot of people were kind of like, I don't know. But Pedro Pascal, to me, was not my choice to play Reed Richards, but he fits with this version of the Reed Richards character. And then Vanessa Kirby, to me, this was probably Vanessa Kirby's movie if it was anybody's movie. In this ensemble cast, she had the most resonant scenes. There's a scene maybe 3/4 through the film, maybe not 3/4, maybe halfway through the film, where she gives a speech in front of a crowd of people who are asking the Fantastic Four to do something, and she cannot do it. They cannot do it because of principles and of family. And she gives a speech that turns the crowd around. And I thought that was a really good moment for Vanessa Kirby. My man playing Human Torch, it's a different take on Human Torch. He's not like as girl hungry and much as a playboy or a himbo as he has been in previous iterations. This Johnny's actually kind of smart. Like there's a couple scenes where he actually uses his brain. And then there's a really good scene towards the end where Johnny does something that you wouldn't think Johnny Storm would do. And there's a moment, Ray, where if I was not an adult who had seen these type of movies before, there's a couple moments where you think maybe two members of the Fantastic Four ain't gonna make it out the Fantastic Four movie, Ray. So like it didn't hook me. Like it was well done and well acted, but they didn't hook me. But I'm sure, like if I'm some 9, 10, 11-year-old kid who's watching this, and this is one of my first superhero movies I'm seeing, like I'm sure those two moments got that kid. And that's a cool thing. The effects are, I would say, good for the most part over the film. There's one scene that's really great. There's a chase scene in outer space, and I was telling Ray earlier, like, I don't think you have to see Fantastic Four in the theaters, but if you do, you have to see it for this scene, Chris. Just because of the way they shoot it, it's just, I think the closest, and it's not a 1-to-1, but if you remember that scene in Spider-Man Far From Home, where Mysterio is like throwing all them images up and tricking Spider-Man, it's not the same visual style, but it has that same kind of emotional impact when you're watching this chase scene. Galactus is in this movie, Ray. It's not a spoiler because he was in the commercial. Galactus is cool. The female Silver Surfer, who is not a gender bent Silver Surfer, like she actually exists in the comics. She was cool for what she was. I kind of felt like the villains were, I'm not going to say the weaker part of the film, but they just weren't like, they weren't Thanos or Killmonger level villains to me, or even Loki level villains, or even the Vulture level villains to me, but they was cool. The score, like, you know, we got to tip the cap to Michael Giacchino. That was cool. But then at the end, there are two post-credit scenes. The last one is just kind of a goofy thing where Herbie the Robot is watching the Fantastic Four cartoon made in that universe about these characters, which is like, okay, it is what it is. The mid-credit scene, though, Ray, is something that's going to get people talking. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to say nothing about it. Let's just say that a certain character that we've been waiting for, Chris, has finally arrived, and we're going to see what he's going to do. He's here. We see him briefly, but we're going to see. We're going to see what he does. So overall, I would say Fantastic Four, semicolon First Steps, Ray, is a good film. People are trying to pit it against Superman, which I get it. It's Marvel versus DC, but they're two different things. Like Fantastic Four, much like Chris, like Fantastic Four to me was not my go-to comic. Like I liked them when they were in other people's comics, but like you got a limited amount of resources, Ray. I'm not buying these damn Fantastic Four books. But Superman is an AAA, like an S tier, I guess is what the kids are saying now. Right. Superman is S tier all day. Fantastic Four was kind of like, you know, they mid-carders, upper mid-carders, if you will. Yeah. They the Jay Lacey of Marvel Comics. But like they're like, oh man, Superman, you got to see Superman, you got to see Fantastic Four. Which one? I would say if you have to pick one, if you can only see one, see Superman in theaters. Because that is the start of a universe. That is a start of what James Gunn is building. And Mr. Terrific is awesome in that movie.
And I just found out that Mr. Terrific was the guy that was Darwin in X-Men First Class. Yeah, so
he got his redemption because they did him dirty in X-Men First Class as Darwin.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to evolve back to life in one of the fucking sequels. Like, what the hell?
Your whole thing is you can evolve, you can't die, and then they kill you. Like, oh, I guess you can't evolve from that.
that pissed me off. Yeah.
Yeah, they did him dirty in that one, but he kills it as Mr. Terrific and Superman. So
Yeah.
if you could only see one, I would say go see Superman and then wait for Fantastic Four to release on digital or on Disney Plus. But no, if you got the time and you got the money to see both, go see Fantastic Four. It's a fun time. There are notes from, like, I like the aesthetic of this universe, the 828 universe is where the Fantastic Four lives. That may be a bit of a spoiler. But I think anybody that saw the trailers knows they weren't on the Prime 616 Marvel Cinematic Universe Earth. But it's kind of like a stylized retro futuristic world. Looks cool. But I enjoyed it, man. It was a good time. I would say, not to go crazy with a score, but I would say 4 out of 5, which is kind of what I was expecting going into it. If you remember when we did the trailer reaction, Ray, I was like, it's probably going to be like a 4 out of 5. And that's exactly what it was to me. And it gets me excited, man. Like, I'm excited for Doomsday and I'm excited for Secret Wars. So I give and I apologize, Michael Giacchino. I see the red beams. I don't want no problems, but I would give Fantastic Four 4 stars out of 5. Ray Williams. Does my review of Fantastic Four give you any incentive to go out to the theaters and check it out, brother?
Well, I did have a bit of incentive. You took that away when you told me to go see Superman. So, but
like, I only got time to see one.
Yeah, but I'm definitely excited to try to go see that. I still haven't seen Thunderbolts. Yes, I know
that they're the new Avengers, right? I don't know if you know.
I get it. I got it. But
did you at least see Captain America yet, Ray?
Oh, you mean Black Falcon? Not yet.
Wow, Ray. Wow. You couldn't even show up for Sam, Ray?
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna catch it on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney Plus right now, Ray. It's been on Disney Plus for like 2 months, Ray.
I'm working, man. I've been working behind the scenes.
My Fantastic Four fatigue goes way back to the 90s, like 93, 94, with that Fantastic Four movie. I don't know if anyone's it is not good. I think the
Roger Corman joint.
Yeah. The studio that had that movie, I think they dumped. They don't even think they claim the movie.
No,
it's so bad. So I like and then Captain America came out during that time as well. The first people don't know about these movies. The Captain America movie was bad, but it wasn't it as far as the worst movies I've seen. I wouldn't call it the worst movie. Definitely the cheesiest, corniest movie. Call it a plate of nachos. But
it was an Avengers movie even before the MCU too, right?
Right. There was so they had a bunch of movies like these kind of like, there was like a made for TV X-Men type movie that came on Fox with Jubilee was the star of it, and my man Bumper Robinson was in it too. That was not great either.
It was like Generation Next or something like that.
Some shit like that. Yeah. But yeah, they've done these. But the Fantastic
you remember the joint with David Hasselhoff as White Nick Fury? Is like,
yeah, that was a sci-fi movie. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
After that, they was like, yeah, he can't be white no more, y'all.
I'm surprised that anybody remembers that, because I do remember that. It came on Sci-Fi Network a long ass time ago, man. I definitely remember David Hasselhoff was on it. And David Hasselhoff, when you put him in things, you're gonna get David Hasselhoff acting.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say he's a bad actor. I'm not saying he's a good actor. he's the Hoff, and that's
you gonna get the Hoff.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna get. The thing that makes David Hasselhoff appealing is all the bells and whistles he's surrounded by, and the things he did, like Knight Rider.
Yeah,
was all about the car. Kit.
Yeah.
Night Industries 2000. I mean, that's what it was about. Baywatch was about the women in the red bathing suits, and,
right?
The guys.
Okay, Chris. Normally we don't like to go to these depths. We don't like to, no pun intended. We don't like to sink to this type of dialogue. But I know, Chris, we are a truthful network. Who was your favorite red bathing suit lifeguard on Baywatch, dog?
It was probably Nicole Eggert Summer. She was cool. And then I liked Yasmin Bleeth.
Yes, that's the one for me. Yasmin Bleeth.
Yeah.
I don't even know what type of race she was, because Bleeth is not a normal natural name. But I'm like, I don't know what you is, Yasmin, but I'm here for you.
Yeah, and then when they got Tracy Bingham on there, she was cool. I actually did an acting thing with Greg Allen Williams, who played Garner on the show. I did something with him briefly. He's a nice guy.
Okay. Shout out to the OG Pamela Anderson. We can't forget you, fam.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Pamela Anderson, of course, she was cool. Now I heard she's got a Broadway show or something. I do eventually when I go back to New York.
Barbed Wire, the Broadway show.
like this is how dumb I was, man. And my mom and people in my family make fun of me. I was the dumb motherfucker who was watching Baywatch in the 90s for the plots. I thought it was compelling stuff.
Like getting Playboy for the articles.
Like a motherfucker getting eaten up by a jellyfish and stuff like that. I was like, my gosh, how's the gang gonna get out of this one? I remember an episode where Giant Gonzalez was on there, and he was like getting bullied by a bunch of gangster kids, and it was like, and then I go back and because there's a Baywatch channel on Pluto, so I went back and watched it a couple years ago. My God, that show is awful, man.
Yes, it was terrible.
Not good. The only thing appealing about the show is the girls.
Yes,
and but when you're a kid, you're like you think stupid things are good, Maybe I was just trying to.
Chris is the only person that was tuning in for Baywatch Nights, because we was like, nah, we ain't.
Oh yeah, I was watching Baywatch Nights. I watched. I was watching. And even that concept was stupid as fuck as well. It was like, okay, this guy is a lifeguard.
Yes.
By day, lifeguards already don't get paid a great amount of money. Even beach lifeguards, it's not a great deal of money you get paid to do that. And it's a tiring job, I'll imagine. So, but at nighttime, he's got time to go to the beach and kick it with Lou Rawls and
solve mysteries.
Mysteries, murder mysteries.
Sir, you ain't no type of licensed police officer, nothing, brother.
Nothing.
Right, yeah. And then they didn't like the first season, which I thought was fine for what it was. They switched it. The second season, they switched it to like this sci-fi thing, which I thought was just complete garbage. But it was
you are a lifeguard getting paid minimum wage, sir. Why are you in all these adventures? Why are you trying to break up this drug cartel? That is not your jurisdiction,
right?
Brother.
And even on the Baywatch Nights, they gave him like a car too, like a red,
like Knight Rider.
I was happy for Greg Allen Williams because on the Baywatch show, the proper show, he didn't have a big line, but on Baywatch Nights, he was Mitch's partner, so it was like it was not a great idea. But the thing with me that people don't understand about me is in the 90s all of those like syndicated weekend shows, I watched every single fucking one of them.
Talk about it, Chris. Talk about it.
I was watching Hercules. I was watching Xena. I was
Thunder in Paradise.
Thunder in Paradise, watching that one. I was watching what's Kung Fu the Legend Continues.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff.
Talk to him, Chris.
Yeah, it's just during the weekend.
VIP.
There was one called Street Justice with Carl Weathers.
Yes. No, Ray, say it again. Say it again.
Oh, VIP.
Woo!
Oh, VIP, yeah. And I actually did something with Natalie Raytano.
Oh, she was my favorite off of that show, Chris.
Yeah, she was. I did a thing with her in the 2000s.
I'll be following her on IG when she do all her little inspirational workout videos and walking in the nature and stuff. I'm like, you shouldn't even be out there in the nature like that now. But I'm gonna watch it. Like,
stay away from the water now.
She was pretty. All the women on that show were lookers, man. But yeah, I was watching all that shit. There was another show called Forever Night, and then so much like
all the Stargates, Chris. All the Stargates.
Stargate SG-1.
Yes.
And then there was a show called Andromeda.
Woo.
Yeah.
And then also the to me it was corny as fuck, but I loved it. It was called Cleopatra 2025.
Yes, it was part of the action block.
Yeah. It's like they don't have those weekend syndicated shows. I mean,
hold on, Chris. Hold on. Do you remember the New Adventures of Sinbad the Sailor Dog?
Yes, I do. They showed that a little bit on TNT, as a matter of fact, right? They showed Sinbad, and then also one of the shows that followed Nitro was Mortal Kombat Conquest with the dude that was playing Brandy's boyfriend in the Cinderella movies. I think his name is but he was that whole thing, man. Yeah. I
don't know nothing about that, Ray. You don't know nothing about the action block, Ray.
No.
I was watching all that shit. My brother is the same. My brother was watching it with me, and he remembers that shit. And he's probably about the same age as you, Ray. He's 36. Xena,
though, to me, out of all them shows, though, Chris, Xena was the one, dog.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Xena was the one.
Flawless. Yeah, Xena was probably my favorite. Early days of that shit was like Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine was
Deep Space Nine, brother.
Show. Yeah, that was UPN, but it was still
that man. Avery Brooks was in a whole different show from everybody else.
Yeah.
They just like, Captain, there's something going on the station.
Yeah.
I know. I feel it too, Captain. What should we do? What should any of us do? Get to the torpedoes right now, brother. If you don't calm down,
getting his Othello on.
I'm tired of the Ferengi messing with the trade union. We must stop the Ferengi.
I still think my favorite episode of Deep Space Nine is the one episode where Q was on there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Captain Cisco punches him.
Yes.
And Q's like, Picard never punched me. And Cisco's like, I'm not Picard.
I'm not Picard.
I was surprised they didn't have him on that show more than that one episode, because I thought that was cool. And then I was disappointed because I found out that that girl, the one that played Kess on that show, she got into so much legal shit, man. She got arrested like a zillion times. I only found this out a couple years ago. I was like, my God, this woman has a record that like it's nuts, man. She's like up there with like one of the like Todd Bridges with her record.
Man, listen. Yeah. Speaking of Deep Space Nine, there is a great podcast on YouTube hosted by Ciroc Lofton.
Jake
from Deep Space Nine, where he kind of has guests on sometimes from the show, and they'll talk about all the episodes of Deep Space Nine. Like, yeah, Deep Space Nine, low key, is probably my favorite Star Trek show out of all of them.
Yeah, probably mine too. Sarah Lofton is related to Kenny Lofton too.
Oh wow, the baseball player.
Yeah, that's what Wikipedia says. I was like, wow.
Yeah, shout out to Deep Space Nine. You don't know nothing about that Deep Space Nine, Ray.
I know bits and pieces.
Brother Avery Brooks was out here acting, Ray.
Well, now maybe I might be thinking of Voyager with your girl. What's her
You
name?
think about Captain Janeway.
Ryan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You talking about Jerry Ryan, 7 and 9.
Jerry Ryan. There it is.
Even in outer space, Ray gonna find a glass of milk.
Yeah.
you ain't never lied.
You just synthesized me a glass of whole milk.
Yeah, she was the only good thing to come from the Borg was 7 and 9.
Yeah, and she was good on Picard too. Picard was pretty decent.
Yeah, I missed the last season of Picard.
The last season of Picard is great, but all it is fan service, because like in the first season of Picard, you got a little bit of Data sprinkled in, and a little bit of 7 and 9 sprinkled in. You got Riker and Troy sprinkled in a little bit. Second season, we get a little bit more Data sprinkled in, a little bit more 7 and 9. We get a little Q sprinkled in. Third season, they was like, fuck it. We bringing back Worf, Geordi, Data, Dr. Crusher, the whole squad. Ain't no reason for y'all to be here because y'all all in your 60s and 70s. But do something.
Whoopi was in a couple episodes too, right?
Whoopi's in the last season too. So it was like the final season of TNG that they never got to do. It was like, we bringing everybody back, dog.
Yeah. As far as like quality of shows that came on weekend syndication, Star Trek TNG is probably the best. Because that one actually had a plot and good writing and stuff like that. Not that the other shows had like bad writing. It was like campy shit, like Kung Fu The Legend Continues it just wasn't great stuff, man. As far as like writing, it's if you're like a kid at home on the weekend and you need something to watch, that's there for you to watch, but that wasn't great.
Yo, Robin Hood.
Yeah.
I forgot about the Robin Hood show.
Robin Hood and the Mortal Kombat one. Yeah, it was like I
forgot about the Robin Hood show.
Yeah.
Just my emotions. Yeah. Robin Hood put me to sleep so many times.
Yeah. Right, yeah. So did that Mortal Kombat show also, but my homegirl Roshumba Williams was on that show. Mortal Kombat Conquest.
My favorite thing on like I just remembered on Deep Space Nine, Ray, is one episode. Spoiler alert! Like, and Deep Space Nine was the first Star Trek to really do like big arcs. Like they kind of deviated from some of the other Star Treks, but Cisco did something dirty. He did something nefarious, shall we say? Mm-hmm. And he's doing his little captain's log because he got to give a report, and he's like, he gives a fake report, and he's like, no, computer, erase that. I'll tell them what I really did. And he's like drinking a glass of wine. He's like, so I lied. I sent those men to their deaths, fighting in a baseless war. But it was for the greater good of the universe. The galaxy will never know what we did here, but I can live with that. I can live with that.
Yeah.
Computer erase that message. And I'm like, brother, you was in a whole different series than everybody else that we just saw on this show.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a documentary called The Captains.
Yeah, I saw that.
A few years ago. They had all the captains. Kirk, Picard, Janeway, like they were all interviewing all the captains.
The dude from the movie too, yeah.
Yes.
Chris Pine.
And when they interviewed Avery Brooks was just like everybody else was
playing
like
the piano and shit.
Avery Brooks is just playing the piano, he's just like making up his own song. Yes, so when I look at Star Trek, my character Benjamin Sisko was kind of like jazz. The way I talked. And it's like, even William Shatner's like, this brother is overacting. And that's coming from me. But yeah, Avery Brooks is just a different kind of cat.
Right, yeah. That what was I gonna say? That Cisco was kind of like, in my opinion, making up for like the black guys that were on TNG.
Yes.
Because Geordie LaForge, God bless LeVar Burton, but he was just such a emasculated dude.
Yeah.
I remember the episode where he created like
Son.
the holodeck girlfriend he had.
Yes. Because so Ray, the Enterprise was in a bit of a trouble, a bit of a jam, and they were trying to figure out what we can do, like how we can fix this. And Geordie's like, "Oh, I remember scientist Leah Brahms wrote this thing," and then he's like in the holodeck trying to recreate the program she used so they can use it to help the Enterprise. And he's like, "I wonder what she looks like. This fool, this." He was Shamik Moore. He was ahead of Shamik Moore's time in terms of I'm gonna be horny on Maine. He had the computer go through her personal logs to replicate a holographic version of her that he could talk to, so he could figure out the problem, and then ends up falling in love with the damn hologram.
And she was married.
Yes,
she was gonna be it was like, my God, why do they have to do this to Geordie, yo? You know.
And then I think the hologram ain't married though. It's like she's single. The real person was married.
That'd have been hilarious if on Picard, when Geordie came back, he was like, "I had to leave my holographic wife for this. What's going on, Captain?" I think the only other, like, it wasn't even a real romance, but they were kind of like friends, but maybe more than friends if she had stayed on the show, was when they brought Ro on the show.
Oh yeah, Ensign Ro, yeah.
Yeah, like they was cool for a little bit, but then she left, and I think they wanted her to be on Deep Space Nine, but she wanted to do something else because she was going to be Major Kira.
Right, yeah. I think they wanted her to do like she was going to be on Deep Space Nine, but I think she was either left for Broadway or doing another kind of show.
Yeah, it was something else that she went to do. But Deep Space Nine was my show too, because you had my boy O'Brien came through from O'Brien. They was like, we know y'all don't know none of these motherfuckers on Deep Space Nine, so we got to bring some people in. So the first season they had O'Brien on the joint, and then they was like, we need, like, O'Brien cool, but we really need these ratings to pop.
Yeah, so
like, somebody called Worf.
Yeah,
and they had like a whole 3-episode arc with Worf coming to the Deep Space Nine space station, and it's just like Cisco had all these dealings with the Klingons, like, Worf, it's good to see you. I've missed you so much. Kaplan. It's like, brother, we don't need this, Captain. That's why everybody on the space station is so nervous and anxious all the time, because you keep bringing this mood to them. Go down to the promenade and tell Quark I don't want any more of his foolishness. Like, Cisco, calm down, brother.
Yeah,
I am the prophet of Bajor. Like, brother. Jake, something wrong with your daddy, man. He's like, I never see him, so I don't know what to tell you. I'm Sirach Lofton. But yeah, Deep Space Nine, all the Star Treks. If you like Star Trek, go check it out. But yeah, that was my little review of Fantastic Four. Go see it in theaters now. But Ray, after kind of thinking about life, after going to the movies, after talking about these TV shows that Chris and I love from back in the day. Shout out to Lucy Lawless and Avery Brooks and I was gonna say Kevin Sorbo, but that doesn't work for me either, brother.
I've seen God's Not Dead. That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
It wasn't for you, Chris. It was for the base, brother.
Right.
It was for the true believers.
Oh my God, man! They just made up shit as they went along in that movie, right? So, and I don't want to get into a whole review of God's Not Dead, but it opens up with the kid sitting in his college class, and Kevin's fucking Sorbo's character is like a dickhead professor, just crotchety and mean. He's dating his intern, and he comes into the class. The first day of class, he has his students sign a contract saying God is not real or God is dead or some shit like that. and the whole class signs it, except for this one evangelical doofus in the class, and he's got to do a poll report to prove that God lives or something. There's not a whole lot of things that a professor could get fired for, outside of messing with a student or something like that. But that's one of them. You can't just fucking tell students to disavow your faith on the first day of college. Like, what do you think happens at these universities, man? I could only imagine. It'd be more than one student. If I made everyone like, yo,
I think that was the song they used in the trailer.
Yeah.
Can only imagine.
Yeah.
When that day comes.
Yeah.
Kevin Sorbo's teaching these students about God being dead.
Yeah. Like they would, man. I'd have it'd be a legion of students reporting me.
Yeah.
And then they would tell students that weren't even in my class about this dickhead professor that said, hey, this Dr. Ely guy said we need to sign this contract that said don't believe in God. You think I want that kind of fucking shit in my life, man? Like, come on.
He said Kevin Sorbo's rate my professor scores are in the toilet.
Do better evangelical movies is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was garbage.
It's a shame when you actively have me like, man, remember the good old days when Kirk Cameron was in Left Behind? Those were some good movies.
Right?
Yeah. And those were kind of because I've seen every single one of those Left Behind movies, including the one with Louis Gossett Jr.
Yes. Tribulation Force.
Yeah, Tribulation Force, and the bad guy's name is like Carpathian, and just evil.
Vigo the Carpathian.
Yeah, and I guess they call
Vigo the master of evil, trying to battle my boys. That's not legal.
These are not good movies.
No.
They are not.
They make Tyler Perry's movies look Oscar worthy.
Right? Yeah. It's like and the thing about these movies is they will try to say, oh, people don't like these movies because they're faith-based movies and stuff like that. And it's like, nah, the movies are not good. And
Chris, you know what? What? These are great movies. And anybody that doesn't like these movies, that's just the enemy talking.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Like, and then there was the last one. Bro. Yeah, the last one of those I saw was, I think it was a Kirk Cameron movie. It was called Saving Christmas, and he was like,
I mean, there's a war on it, to be fair. There is a war on Christmas.
Right. Yeah. Well, that was part of the movie. It was like, he was like, why are people saying happy holidays? So why aren't they saying Merry Christmas? I'm bringing Christmas back. Like, these people invent wars in their head. Every year, someone says Merry Christmas to me, or, I say Merry Christmas to a Jehovah's Witness. All they do is say thank you. They don't say, I'm a Jehovah's Witness and I don't believe it. They don't grandstand about this shit.
To be fair, though, that the best scene of that movie, Ray, it's a musical number where Kirk Cameron his plan is getting into fruition. He's like, I'm bringing Christmas back. Yeah. Atheists and Muslims don't know how to act. Yeah.
Oh no, not Justin. That's the wrong song.
Go ahead for the savior. No. Go ahead for the savior. Get your Christmas on. Don't.
Yeah, maybe on the network one of these years we could do one of those shows where we review those movies.
Yeah. As a Christian, these movies are not good. And I would say I would go a step further, Ray. Like, not only are these movies not good most of the time, but they are antithetical to the actual message that they're trying to get across.
Right, yeah, that's my biggest problem with them too. Is like they don't have good messages in them. Like, I saw a movie where it was called like Letters to God. The Greg Kinnear was in it.
Oh yeah.
That was not my cup of tea, but it was a perfectly fine cheesy camp movie, you know.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything offensive about it, or the preacher's wife or whatever.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but you gotta at least try with these things, man. Like, that's all I ask, is try to make a good movie, not some like message laden movie of things that don't exist. Nobody gives a fuck if you say Merry Christmas. That is not a thing. It just ain't.
But there is one thing I do hate about Christmas time, Ray.
What's that?
It's too cold to feed ducks on the pond, brother.
Uh-oh.
Let's go. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, to feed some ducks on the pond. If you're new to the parlay, this is the part of the show where we go to the pond whenever Ray brings it up. There we go. Now we on the pond, Chris. We go to the pond, and each of us brings a question to the table that we ask, and we decide about how we feel about these issues. It might be something serious, might be something silly, might be something funny. But I'll go first because we did talk about this a little bit earlier. Ray, can you bring the pond music down just a little bit? Some loud ass ducks on the pond today. These Avery Brooks ass ducks. Quack quack. Quack quack. Like, duck, calm down, quack. But Chris and Ray, I'll start first. My question for the group: we talked a lot about the reasons, deservedly so, Terry Bollea is being criticized even after his death. But I will say there have been some good moments with the Hulkster on screen, fellas.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite Hulk Hogan in-ring memory? And we can start with Chris.
For me, it's the NWO build. I don't think there's much that's better than that. The only thing that I didn't like about it was like the Bobby Heenan kind of spoiling it before it happened. Now, the argument in favor of it was that, well, that's Bobby Heenan, and that's just something that he did anyway.
Right.
Yeah, but I still think he should have been clued into like this was gonna happen, so that wouldn't be the conclusion he jumped to. But it was just great, and then even I liked every little bit of that, even like where like Hogan tosses the referee out of the ring, and then you find out he's in cahoots with Hall and Nash, and then like he does that fake pinfall on Randy Savage and Razor Ramon counts it. It is like, it was just great. And then the promo he cut, it was like decades of frustration just coming out. And how, you know, these guys are the future of wrestling, and you know, you guys, the reception I got was horrible. You fans can stick it, all that stuff. And that to me is my favorite moment. And then my least favorite moment is when he pulled Sid out of the Royal Rumble. But I definitely think it's the NWO stuff, because I think it breathed life into a lot of careers that probably would have died without it. It did overstay its welcome, and that's one of the knocks on it. But as far as feeling fresh and rejuvenating wrestling, and Hogan, say what you will about him, the truthful stuff, but he was the catalyst for two boom periods. He was the catalyst for the boom period in the 80s and the 90s, because WWE didn't start leaning into the edgier side of wrestling until the NWO. You know, they went there first. You know, Eric Bischoff was a heel authority figure before Vince McMahon. A lot of people think it's the other way around. No, Bischoff was the heel first, and then Vince McMahon followed suit. So it's just that whole concept initially,
Okay.
it was good and made sense. Then once you start getting Virgil and Brian Adams,
Scott Norton.
they put Buff, and I like Buff Bagwell as a person. I mentioned that on the show last.
Shout out.
Why is Buff Bagwell in the NWA squad, man? Come on.
Because he the stuff, Chris. Because he the stuff.
Yeah. Then they did like the Wolf Pack is kind of cool, but like I do like just the NWO stuff that Hogan did. That's to me is my favorite.
Okay. I'll piggyback off of that then, Chris. Take the hot tag, because that's my answer too. The NWO and specifically Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Like that to me was the only time I ever enjoyed Hulk Hogan in wrestling. I repeat, Ray, the only time I ever enjoyed Hulk Hogan in wrestling was when he was playing Hollywood Hogan, because to our conversation earlier, Hollywood Hogan felt more real. Hollywood Hogan felt like less of a caricature, Chris. Yeah. Hollywood Hogan was like probably the stuff that Terry Bollea really wanted to say to the fans all these years.
Yeah,
he had the look with the black beard, but like he's dying the mustache, but still got the black beard. Yeah. The Jimi Hendrix, I stand up next to a mountain, chop it down with the edge of my hand.
I'm wearing my Hendrix shirt right now.
Yes, like the Voodoo Child entrance for Hulk Hogan, like it just set it off. And so yeah, like everything with the NWO until it got to the point where it's like, oh, this is not good. Was good. Like this Arcade 97 finish was kind of cheeks Ray Williams. Through no fault of Sting's. Sting is perfect. Even though Ray said we can't all be perfect, Sting can be perfect, Ray. Sting can be perfect. But like the whole Hollywood Hogan, like Hogan turning heel. Like, and again, going back to Sting, the original plan was for Sting to be the third man of the NWO. And I think while Sting would have gave it his best shot, because he was always a company man, he wouldn't have done as well as Hogan. Like the impact of Hulk Hogan being the bad guy, the Hulk Hogan turning his back on the fans, like it was great as a viewer. It made you want to tune in week after week. Who's going to join? Who's going to switch sides? What's Hogan going to say? The stuff with Dennis Rodman and Karl Malone, that was cool. Like, so yeah, like the stuff with Jay Leno, less so when that happened. But yeah, like Hulk Hogan in the NWO as Hollywood Hulk Hogan is my favorite period of Hogan, and he's like that version of Hogan is probably one of my favorite heels ever. So I'll give Terry some credit on that one, Ray.
Indeed. I think I agree with you guys as far as that's because, again, I'm a little younger than you guys. So when I was growing up, I didn't get a chance to see that much of Hogan like in the early 90s because he was mainly wrestling on like the big shows. And not talking about Paul White or the Giant right now, but he was wrestling mainly on pay-per-views and stuff. But me, I was watching Superstars, and I didn't really see him that much. Like I mainly saw like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, those guys, Mankind, Undertaker. I didn't really see much of Hogan in the early 90s. Like they would show clips and stuff of him going through crowds and stuff, and it's like he was a big deal, like as far as like the red and yellow Hogan. And we always knew about the say your prayers and eat your vitamins, even though he was talking about different vitamins. But I think that's when I started figuring out, once like I started getting into my preteen and teen years, that's when the NWO started to kind of get hot. And so that's where his most memorable moments come from me. But I think for me, the biggest moment that I remember was Brock Lesnar when he first entered the WWF. He's just running through folks. He's just making folks look silly. He's triple power bombing Jeff Hardy. He's just destroying folks, and this is on his path to becoming the undisputed WWE champion. And so, who's gonna save us? Who's gonna save us from this man? And this is after the implosion of WCW. Who's gonna save us from this beast who's just wrecking all comers? It's gotta be Hulk Hogan. It's gotta be. He's our savior. You know, he's the hero from the 80s and the early 90s. He can slay the beast, can he? No, he can't. He was just getting destroyed and then getting bear hugged to the point of blood coming out of his mouth and not being able to continue. He didn't tap. He gave a valiant effort, but it was all for naught. And that was like the most jarring thing. I was like, oh my goodness, even Hulk couldn't take Brock Lesnar. Who's gonna stop this man? and so that's the most outstanding memory that I have of Hogan. Okay. I think like the low for me, and you mentioned it earlier, Nate. First off, Voodoo Child greater than Real American. I don't care nothing about no Real American. Like I do get like my shoulders move.
to be fair to Rick Derringer, Real American is a good jam.
It is a jam, but once that I'm like super hot. It's like once that thing come on, I'm done.
So there are some N-words Hulk Hogan approved, I guess.
As long as they're no longer living and they make good music, I guess. But that being said, like the kind of bottom as far as Hulk Hogan on TV being concerned, and we mentioned this earlier with his running TNA wasn't quality. Them trying to go up against WWE on Monday nights was definitely not a good idea.
No. Hold on. My favorite moment of Hogan in TNA was when they were building up to the Sting Hogan match, which actually ended up being a whole lot better than it had any right to be. But it's when Sting is like in the office beating up Hogan and like mushing makeup on his face because he's calling Terry a clown. He's like, "Tell the truth, Terry. Tell the truth. Be real for once, Terry." And in my head canon, that wasn't even acting. That was just Steve Borden like, "Dog, you don't never tell the truth, man. Tell the truth, Terry.
Shoot, brother.
Tell the
truth." But I think one very low moment for me, other than Immortal 10-10-10. If you know, you know.
I did love that Immortal title though. That Jeff Hardy signature joint.
I was like, I don't think this is working.
I just came up with it out of my imagination. I know some people like Ray Williams and people like that, the critics say they don't like it, but I just say, whenever somebody criticizes you, that's just the enemy looking for a way in.
So I was like, is that the inner monologue? It'd be like my face, I'm Jeff Hardy, my actual face, and then you just the inner monologue. But I think the low was, I believe, was it so it was a build up to a lockdown match, I believe. And I believe it was Jeff Hardy versus Bully Ray for the title, if I'm not mistaken. And Bully Ray at this time in storyline has performed nuptials and is married to Brooke Hogan. Okay, so we're leading to the lockdown match, and it's supposed to be this big time match, and Bully Ray, he was like, I've turned over a new leaf. And this is also when the Aces and Eights is kind of running roughshod, right? And we don't know who's this mysterious new leader, who's this guy that they keep talking about. And so we get to the match, and then they're fighting each other, Hardy and Bully Ray, and then Aces and Eights comes out. They start wrecking everything. They're destroying Jeff Hardy, and then I think it was Devon that had like a hammer or something.
Yeah.
And he hands it to Bully Ray. And so Bully Ray gets a hammer, starts bludgeoning Jeff Hardy. Brooke Hogan is crying on the outside obsessively, like just don't know what to do. And then we pan over to Hulk Hogan. And he's just like, you son of a man. Yo, you son of a. I was like, dude, you can't act no more. you son of a man. I was like, bro, you can't, like, give me some Avery Brooks or something, brother. Give me some feeling. I was like, nah, he's done with this. He is done. And so that is my low point of Terry as far as being on screen is concerned. But with him, his return to WWE, and specifically him sacrificing his body for Brock Lesnar is my top memory.
Okay, so we had some good things to say about Terry, y'all.
We did.
What you gonna do? All right, Chris. I'll give you the chance to ask the next question, Chris. So, to continue the theme of the day, what's the question, Chris?
Well, okay. So Ray, you already named your low moment, so you can name another one. But mine is gonna be what is your worst non-racist moment from Hogan? Like, I'm trying to keep it in the realm of kayfabe, or if it's not in the realm of kayfabe, just not racism related, right?
Yes,
gotcha.
On screen, wrestling related.
And for me,
no, hold on, Chris. I know, like, I messed up the formula on the last question, but we have to get back to protocol. We can't let Terry wreck the show. That doesn't work for me, brother. We got to start with Ray, and then me, and then we go back to you.
All right. So
Ray, you got another worst moment?
Well, I got a worst moment. It's not in a storyline, but is non-racist related. So
qualifiers.
I remember that he was doing some I believe it was after he had gotten out of TNA, and he was doing some press, and so I believe he was getting interviewed by Mauro Ranallo, shout out, former voice at NXT, now doing Maple Leaf Wrestling with Scott D'Amore and him. But I think he was on that radio show, and he was saying, I think Mauro was like, well, what happened, man? Because it seemed like TNA was kind of on a good trajectory, but then it started falling off a little bit. So what do you think happened? And this man gets on the air, and he was like, well, brother, I think there were just too many cooks in the kitchen, and I think they just didn't know what to do with it because it was too many cooks in the kitchen. I'm like, dude, you and Bischoff were the cooks, nigga. You were the sous chef. You were the bear, nigga. You like, what are you talking about? You're the main one that pretty much, like you said, Nate, like in storyline, if doggone Dixie Carter is on your leg and you dragging her across like a petulant child, then you had the power, bro. So don't sit up here and say it was too many cooks in the kitchen and blaming everybody else for the failure. Again, the lack of accountability. So that was my least that was my worst moment outside of wrestling, but also not related to the tape.
All right. That's a good one, yeah. For me, again, because this whole TNA run, except for like that brief moment where him and Sting actually had a good match, was terrible. But I would say my worst moment for Hulk Hogan on screen involving wrestling, not related to the racism and the sex tape, all these damn qualifiers. My worst moment for Hulk Hogan is a little federation that he and Eric Bischoff started called Micro Championship Wrestling.
Oh no!
I don't know if you remember MCW, Chris. This man Hulk Hogan had the nerve to create a TV show based around a wrestling federation for little people, dwarves, micro wrestlers is what he called them, and just Hulk Hogan using his celebrity to jump the line to get a show started and cashing in on the naivety of these people that like have the stars in their eyes, Chris. All these little wrestlers, man, they got the stars in their eyes. Like, yo, I'm on a TV show with Hulk Hogan, produced by Eric Bischoff and Jimmy Hart. This gonna be my ticket to the big time. I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna be a star. And all the show did was promote how big of a star Hulk Hogan was. And how many ways can I bring in my friends? Oh, look, Brian Knobbs is here to train the little people. Oh, look, Jimmy Hart's here to talk to the little people about cutting promos. Oh, look, Eric Bischoff's here telling the little people how to be TV ready. And it's just kind of, come on, man. We see what it is, Hulk. We see the game for what it is. This wasn't about the micro wrestlers. This was about you. Much like your show, Hogan Knows Best, was about you. Much like when Brooke tried to have her own little spinoff show. It was about you.
Right.
It was about you, Eric, because you're selfish. So yeah, micro championship wrestling to me, outside of anything Hulk did in TNA, that is my worst Hulk Hogan moment. But Chris, you asked the damn question. What is your worst moment?
So there's
Hulk Hogan.
I found out probably yesterday when I saw the excerpts from the Brooke Hogan interview. She did not want to be on TNA.
Yes,
I had no clue that was not something that she wanted to do or be associated with. That was something that Hogan kind of forced his hand and had her do. But that's not my worst moment. For me, the worst moment is always going to be the day that I stopped being a fan of Hulk Hogan and never looked back was when he pulled Sid Justice out of the Royal Rumble.
Chris still ain't let that go.
Right. The reason why it just
You like Bobby Heenan. I knew it.
Vince McMahon did this kind of stuff with Hogan all the time. Like Hogan was the good guy. And he'd do stuff for Hogan that made him nefarious, that made him kind of a bad guy. And one of the things was like when Sid Justice barely threw him out of the ring, he pulls him out of the ring and the fans start vocally booing him. And it was just a move that made no sense. He was starting to be on his last legs anyway. WrestleMania 9 got on my nerves a little bit too because of just the nonsensical nature of it all. Mr. Fuji throws salt in Bret Hart's eyes, and then for some stupid reason challenges Hogan to the world title, and Hogan gets it. And even though I'm a young, non-smart fan, I could tell that title reign wasn't going to be long for this world, There was something that felt off about it. And they do the thing with what's his name, Downtown Bruno, Harvey Whippleman, where he takes a picture and fireball gets in Hogan's eyes. But yeah, there's literally so much. Starrcade, That's another one. So I can never forgive him for the way he
poke of
gets
doom.
Yeah, the finger poke of doom is up there as well. Just all of the political stuff he did that integrated itself into the wrestling show. All that stuff.
Yeah. So we've had the best of Terrible Air and the worst of Terrible Air all in one show. Ray Williams.
One more honorable thing. He actually had himself main event a Starrcade with Brutus the Butcher.
Yes. That was terrible. That and the main event against the Ultimate Warrior, which nobody wanted to see.
Right.
And you mentioned Hulk doing like bad things. I won't say Nefarious because I don't want Nefarious associated with Terrible Air, but doing bad things, Chris. Like he put his hands on Sherry Martel all the time.
Oh yeah.
He was not like, oh, you know what, Sherry, get over there. He was atomic dropping her all day long, punching her in the face all day long. Like, oh, man, you don't think there's a problem with this Hulkster? I know she interfering, but damn, that's a lady Hulkster. Gotta do what you gotta do, brother.
Scary.
Ray Williams. Go ahead.
You step up to me like a man, you get dropped like a man, brother.
Ray Williams, what is your question this week while we on the pond, brother?
Well, we did cover the good of Hulk Hogan, like you guys mentioned. He did without Hulk Hogan, we wouldn't have wrestling as it is today as being a global brand.
That is what Devontae said on Friday night when they sent him out here to try to, again, like they're like, Cody, you got to say something, brother. I know you saved us from racism in AEW. You got to save us now. Say something.
Yeah, right. The only thing he was missing was bringing his daughter out. I think, like I said, without him, we wouldn't have pro wrestling as being like known globally and known in the mainstream. Like, and even if you weren't a fan, you probably wouldn't know. Like, wrestling wouldn't be as prevalent as it was if not for him. That being said, there are also, as we've pointed out as well, there's also some negative things, a lot of negative things that affect his legacy. So my question is, who are some wrestlers, or if there's just one, or someone within the wrestling community who you have good things, primarily good things to say about, and you would like to give them their flowers while they're still here? Like, you would want to go ahead and shower them before they go on. You want to go ahead and give them their flowers now. So who is the one wrestler, or if it's multiple wrestlers, that you would like to go ahead and encourage and let them know that they mean a whole heck of a lot to you? So Chris, you go ahead. My bad.
I need to say some kind words about our good brother Tyrus, man.
Oh no.
Spike. But no, obviously, Ray, the first person that came to mind when you said that is that man called Sting, brother.
Yeah.
This man, and nobody in the business, nobody, Chris, has had a bad word to say about this man publicly.
Right.
And it's like, in that business, which is so cutthroat, and people love being petty, and people love throwing shade, but nobody to be like, well, I would say nobody that we respect and value their opinion. Like, you get people like Eric Bischoff. Oh, he showed up out of shape at Starrcade 97. He wasn't tan enough. That's why we did what we did. Or, you know, people like that. But by and large, nobody in the business has a bad thing to say about Steve Borden. And so, yeah, Steve Borden is top of the list for me. Somebody that deserves his flowers. Had the best retirement run we've ever seen, or one of the best retirement runs we've ever seen in AEW. Sorry, Goldberg. But yeah, he is A1 on my list. For some honorable mentions, I would say people that don't get enough credit in this business. One person who I feel like doesn't get enough credit, and maybe it's because they're from an older time or an older generation, and a lot of the young cats aren't really up on what they meant to the sport, Chris. I will shout out somebody like Leilani Kai,
Right. Yeah.
who was recently at Saturday Night's Main Event, man, who is somebody who was wrestling in a time when women were not really treated with respect in the business, but she's been, because there's a lot of stories about the older generation kind of holding the younger generation down, and she was somebody who, whether it was as a trainer or whether it was, being a manager in a company like Shine, which was an offshoot of Shimmer, for some of these younger female talents coming up, she just has an appreciation for the business. So I'll give Leilani Kai her flowers. And then finally, there is one person who likes to style on profile, Ray. There's one person who lives on the biggest house on the biggest side of town. There's one person who is just natural at all of this. It just makes you want to say, woo! So I got to give it up to Lil Nate Charles Robinson, one of the greatest refs in the game today. This man been doing it since the WCW days, man, and it's just like
sacrificing his body.
He is one of the few traditional performers who ages like a non-traditional performer, if you know what I'm saying, Ray Williams. Like this brother, yeah, he a little bit older, yeah, the hair's a little bit thinner and a little bit grayer, but he looked pretty much damn near the same as he did back in the day. And Charles Robinson, again, just a great professional referee. If you look at the TikToks and stuff from some of the WWE performers, like he's always up for foolishness and shenanigans with these younger folks, and he can easily just be like, I'm gonna show up to work and go home and do my job and go home. But he seems to genuinely like being around the younger officials and the younger superstars and just sharing his knowledge. And one of my favorite moments at a WWE event, I believe it was the event where Punk came back to the Hampton Coliseum. When Cena and Rey Mysterio were fighting over the title after Punk had left.
Oh,
and I believe this may have been the main event. The referee for the main event was Charles Robinson for Rey Mysterio versus John Cena. Charles Robinson is walking down to the ring, and me and my buddy, the seats we had, they were good-ish seats. They were like right on the ramp, but kind of midway down the ramp. So we had pretty decent seats. They were cheap too. I think we got them last minute. And Charles Robinson starts walking down the ring. Nobody's really saying anything. And me and my buddy just we had a few drinks, Chris, and we just start standing up. Lil Nate, woo, Lil Nate, what up, woo? And he just looks over at us, has the biggest smile on his face, and just shakes his head like, these Negroes. And he just kind of nods and then waves and then walks down to the ring to do his job. Man. Like, he just seems like a good human being, and you never hear anybody say anything bad about Charles Robinson. So I wanted to shout out Charles Robinson because I think the referees are a overlooked part of what makes a match good, Chris. And I think he's really good at his job.
Yeah.
Right, I agree. And he's he's been around for a minute, man. One of the last survivors of WC. He's been there consistently the longest.
Yes.
All the WCW employees. I mean, there are guys that are still around like Shane Helms and Booker T, but Robinson never quit.
Left.
He started and stayed, man.
And he had a moment a few months ago, Chris, that I was like, you know what? I never would wish to be like a traditional person older than me. But in this one instance, I was like, if we could just do like a Quantum Leap type situation, because it was a match, Ray, after, I think Nia Jax was wrestling Tiffany Stratton or something. And she had lost the match, and she was like, Tiffany had knocked her out with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and Charles was the one tasked to help Nia Jax get up from the ground and walk her to the back. And I'm like, you know what, Charles, you ain't equipped to handle all that, brother. Tag me in, little Nate. I'll help her to the back. Because they had to do the spot where, because she's so much bigger than him, he got to try to pick up, and then, oh no, she's so heavy, I fell down. I could work on that spot all night long, Charles Robinson. You don't know what you're doing there, little Nate. That's all I'm saying. I was happy. I was happy for you, Charles. I was happy for you.
Happy for you.
All right, Chris, what you got, brother?
I'll stick with wrestlers that I probably met that I like. Prince Nana, he did our show. One of the early episodes of our show.
Christopher.
Of course, I bought a product from him, and
He's got an action figure coming out now too, I think.
Yeah.
So cool. So, and then I was like, okay, can you pay it forward and do the show? And he did the show. That was a fun episode. I also MVP I met at the BET Awards. We've had it on it, but overall I like MVP. And he did Review America.
Yes.
With you and John and
Brian May.
Yeah, it was cool. That was cool stuff. So Matt Stryker was a nice guy. Buff Bagwell was cool when I met him. Let me see. Awesome Kong, Karma, if you will. I'm in a picture with her. Man, she was awesome, and just so cool when I met her. This was during All In weekend. And then there were wrestlers that were, some of them were just dicks, and there's no other way to explain it. And then the other ones, they weren't dicks. I just could tell they weren't in the mood. And I do want to give a couple of shouts to that stuff. So, what's the fucker's name? My God, he's a good wrestler. In AEW, married to or dating, or I don't know, to the woman that used to do the ring announcing for Lucha Underground.
You're talking about Brian Cage and Melissa.
Brian Cage, yeah. So he's less said about him. Better. He wasn't the nicest guy. Maybe it was something going on. Lex Luger, again, the guy did not like kids, man. It's just that simple. He wasn't mean. I want to reiterate that. He was not a mean guy. He just, like, I've seen wrestlers that like kids. Macho Man, I met him when I was in the 7th grade at Sir Gooney's miniature golf course in Knoxville, Tennessee. He was so nice to me and my brother, and just every kid in there, he made sure he like hugged and played around with and stuff, almost like a big kid himself, you know. Luger, when the Lex Express passed through my town, the guy just doesn't like kids. He just didn't like fucking kids. I honestly think, I haven't seen any shoot interviews with him saying this, so I don't have this verified. I think he hated being the Lex Express guy. I don't think he liked the Made in America stuff. And I could understand not connecting to a character and that kind of spilling over into your personal life. Because like I said, he wasn't a dick. It was just, he didn't have time for kids. I met him 3 times. When I met him and I was older, he was a little bit more tolerable with me. But he still didn't like kids. And then I met him again at the same event where I met Karma at the All In event during the weekend when it was an indie show still. And he was nicer then, but he was also kind of wheelchair bound and stuff. I think life had kind of humbled him a little bit. So he was real nice then. He was jovial and stuff like that. But, you know. But yeah, the one good thing about doing this podcast and stuff is just getting to meet different wrestlers, different personalities in the business, you know, or who cover the business, like Sid, Rich Fan, All those people, Percy Love, Stephanie Chase, Denise Salcedo, all the Brian Alvarez, he was cool. Dave Meltzer, met him a few times, awesome guy. Like I said, man, it's just I'll say this. I've met more cool, awesome talent in wrestling than dickheads. It's just the dickheads you kind of have a lasting memory of.
Yeah.
Brutus, Beefcake, and Virgil. R.I.P. to Virgil.
And just make sure you pay him his F money, Chris.
I know, right? My last encounter with him alive, he got his F money, so hopefully he's
Ray, you asked the damn question, man. Answer it. Tell us why you love EC3, brother.
No, I think I'm just gonna take 20 minutes to talk about Tiffany Stratton. First of all, like, again, we trying to keep it positive. So I think I got one male, one female, and then I got like a bunch of like honorary mentions around that. So starting with the males, guy that pretty much jumps off the page to me, Bryan Danielson. When you talk about somebody who is universally loved and respected, not one bad word can be said about that person, that's the first person I think of. And when you talk about Sting, what Sting means to you, that's what Bryan Danielson means to me.
Sting was cool too when I met him. I forgot to mention him.
And so
that would have been weird if Sting was only a dick to Chris. Like in the history of Sting, he was a dick to one person and it was just Chris.
I think Chris, that might say something about you.
right. Like you my boy Chris, but if you got Sting mad, you my boy Chris, but I might have to side with Sting on this one, dog. What did he say to make that brother so mad?
But that's exactly the way I feel about Bryan Danielson. There was one man who, if his life didn't end a certain way, that I would put up here, but because his life and the lives of others ended certain ways, like he was that particular person was like my favorite wrestler. And when that stuff went down,
I think he's invalidated from this list, right?
Yes. I'm not meant. That's why. That's why. We treating him like the WWE treat him. Like I don't know who won the World Heavyweight title.
Other than that stuff at the end, he was cool. Like no, Ray, no.
Nah. I'm not gonna mention him at all. But I'm saying, I'm just building up as though like he was kind of like, up until that point, he was like my role model in wrestling. And then when that happened, that just shattered me to where I couldn't watch WWE for like a few years after that. And then I think I kind of got back into it through Punk and the pipe bomb in 2011. And while Punk, like, he had this character about him, it was something about Daniel Bryan. Like it was something about this guy, like scrappy. He didn't take any shortcuts. Like, and then he started developing characters when he went into the yes and the no. But it was always something about him where he was undersized, but he always found a way to make things happen. And it was just something about him that kind of brought my love for professional wrestling back. And so, and then again, to hear that other people just love this man, and to hear like just in interviews, like just him being so not only intelligent but thoughtful and like respectful to folks, and just like you could just tell that this is a good dude. And so, and it kind of makes me proud to be a fan. Like That other guy, he didn't make me proud to be a fan anymore, but he, like Bryan Danielson, made me proud to be a fan of his in particular and of wrestling as a whole. So he's at the top. Honorable mentions, I'm gonna run through them. First off, even though this brother, I don't know if that's the I don't know if that's the doorbell. That's a different sound.
It sounded like Chris was playing a flute or something. Like,
you on your Andre 3000.
But, playing hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. If you remember that back in the days in music class, shout out.
Oh my goodness. But my honorable mention on the male side, even though this brother believes the world is flat, he's still one of my favorites. If that's the worst thing you could say about this brother, then I don't know. Maybe he's a decent guy. So AJ Styles. Of course, I went over my love of Cope, aka Edge, before. Again, another brother no one has really anything bad other than him dirty macking, but that was years ago. Yeah. He's atoned for his sins.
He's a changed man.
He's a changed man. He's progressed. He ain't perfect, but he's gotten better.
He went and found himself, you could say, right?
Yeah, indeed. And on this day, he sees clearly, brother.
On that day back in the past, he only saw the draws.
No, exactly.
But today he sees clearly.
Cope, AJ, and even though this brother is a libertarian, which I'm just now figuring out, thank you, Dr. Chris. Still, Samoa Joe seems like a perfect guy. That's one cat that I did meet in person, and he seemed pretty nice to me. And he took a picture with me, and he just seems like an all-around good dude. So
new season of Twisted Metal out now.
Yes, you were gonna say something, Chris?
I said no, he's cool. I met Joe before. He was cool.
All right. On to the women's side. So top, Sarah D'Amato. I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with that name.
Okay.
She is one of the head trainers at NXT and at the Performance Center, along with Matt Bloom. Her ring name was Sarah Del Rey, who used to wrestle at ROH and used to also wrestle on the Indies. And she's just phenomenal. And kind of like when you were bringing up Charles Robinson, Brother Nate, I think Sarah Del Rey is one of the unsung, like one of the, not heroes, but one of the unsung people that people don't talk about when it comes to the development of those in NXT, and specifically with the women's division in NXT. She was there when the 4 Horsewomen arrived, and she was training those women up. So Sarah D'Amato, she doesn't get a lot of flowers, but I'm going ahead and I'm giving you your flowers now, Sarah. You are a phenomenal wrestler. Matter of fact, she had awesome matches on Shimmer. She actually wrestled Asuka before Asuka came over to the NXT. She wrestled her as Kana back then, and they had tremendous matches, like tremendous chemistry between one another. So
she was someone who was just a little bit too far ahead of her time.
Yeah,
because it's like her, like especially when you look at like that first class of Shimmer, Cheerleader Melissa, Sarah Del Rey, Allison Danger. Like there's a couple of women that could have been Daisy Hayes. That could have been bigger
Portia
stars
Perez.
in the bigger. I used to love me some Portia Perez. They could have been bigger stars, but the business wasn't where it is now, where they actually take women's wrestling seriously. But like people don't know, man, Shimmer put a lot of people on these streets. Like Becky Lynch got her start in Shimmer. Paige got her start in Shimmer. Iconics got their start in Shimmer. So respect to Shimmer and what those women and Dave Prazak did back in the day.
Exactly. I mean, they ain't taking over women's wrestling like WoW is.
I mean, look, hold on, Ray. We got a brand new world champion. Tormenta is your new Wow Women of Wrestling world champion. Had a banger last night wrestling Reina Del Rey, one of my favorites, and beat Reina Del Rey. Actually, the match was stopped, Ray. The match was stopped because she took a back suplex, landed on her right shoulder. I don't know if it's a real injury or a Seth Rollins injury, but we're going to find out. And they were at San Diego Comic-Con this past week where they announced Wow has been renewed for another season, Ray.
Nice.
Promotion of the year again.
Back to back. But
Kobe and Shaq.
But again, Shimmer paved the way. Of course, again, can't take nothing from Wow. But yeah, shout out to Sarah D'Amato. My honorary mentions, of course, I love me some Asuka. You can't say enough good things about Asuka and just her mark on the business, even though they try to make it, they try to downplay her, but she's phenomenal. No pun intended. Although I don't know if she knows. I think she thinks the world is round, but well, that's another different one. And I actually am going to give some shine for some of the more recent wrestlers. And I guess this question came up to my mind because I had a thought yesterday. I was like, you know what? Not a lot of people, especially when people are hurt, not a lot of people like continue to think of wrestlers as they're out on the shelf, unless like they're big time. But if they're kind of like having smaller roles or like more mid-card roles, like, not a lot of people think of them. And one person that came to my mind was Zoe Stark. Like just the type of injury that she had, it was just crazy. And so I was just thought, you know what, let me go ahead and just let her know people still thinking of her. So I'm like, this is a wrestling fan that hasn't forgotten about you, and I wish you well, continued success on your recovery as it's going. And like I didn't put that out there so it could get retweeted and so 100 people could like it. I just was like, you know what, let me just send some love out to her, because I'm sure there's other folks that are sending love too. But again, unless you're like a big time wrestler and you got like millions of followers, you know, maybe a lot of people aren't checking for you.
You never know, Ray. You could have been the one message of hope that she got that day. You know, she was ready to retire. She was going to walk away from it all. And she was like, hold on. This man, Mondo Dondo 1, sent this message. I got to keep going for the little people.
Well,
and I don't mean micro wrestlers.
But yeah, I mean, I that's not what I sent the message out for. But if it did have that kind of effect, then I hope that she's feeling better and that she does have the will to continue to pursue this sport. So shout out to her. And then lastly, this ain't a part of the bit. I swear it's not a part of the bit. Elena Black, she announced, aka Cora Jade. I swear, no correlation, literally, no correlation. But she did come out last week and say that she's taking some time off the rest of the year. In fact, off from professional.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And she was saying that she's dealing with some mental health issues. So again, just giving you all the positive vibes. I'm a religious person, but I know not everybody is religious, but prayers going out to you, and just hoping that everything works out, that get your mind right, you know, take care of your mentals, take care of your chicken. I know the chicken gonna be all right due to your other ventures. I don't know if you're going to lay those other ventures to the side.
Ray is like, I'm personally supporting you with your chickens right now.
But
I am invested financially in
I am. But I hope you get yourself back together.
For my feet pics.
Right. But yeah, I just hope that like wrestling's going to be here, whether you want to come back to it or not. Wrestling's always going to be here, and even if you don't, just get yourself together mentally, and then everything else will fall into place. So, shout out to Elena Black, aka Bree. I forgot her last name, but her real first name is Bree. So, shout out to Bree, aka Elena, aka Cora J.
You know what, Ray? That all sounded well and good. You know, and again, we all here at Nefarious wish her the best, man. You got to take time out for yourself. But Ray, you ain't fooling nobody.
There you go.
Chris, this man just got up here and talked for 3 minutes on Al Gore's internet. Like, oh, just, thoughts and prayers, and we want the best, and you got to take care of yourself, which is all good to say. But really, the subtext of what he was saying, excuse me, miss, where are you from? Can I take you out tonight to the movies, to the park? We won't get home till after dark. Can I take you? You ain't slick, Ray Williams.
I swear it ain't a
slick,
part of the bit. I
Dirty
swear
dog.
I'm genuinely concerned.
Ray is like, I'm genuinely concerned about you, Elena. Also, do we get half off on the subscription this month or no? I don't know what the rates is right now. Oh, well, yeah, you know what? As we've seen, man, there's good and bad in everybody, Chris. There's highs and lows in everybody's life. But at the end of the day, it's all about finding the good times, finding your peace of mind, and feeding these damn ducks on the pond. Yes. Even I think Ray cut the music early.
It was already going off, so I didn't want to have it start back up and then cut it off.
No, you ain't slick, Ray. You're just being passive aggressive because I called you out, rightfully so, about your Elena Black comments. But that's okay. Right. We're not gonna end the show on a contentious note, brother. We're gonna end in peace. But that's gonna do it for this edition of the Parlay. Shout out to everybody that watched live Monday evening, and shout out to everybody listening in the future. Chris, before we get out of here, man, and check out this Raw, which I'm sure we'll have a tribute. Oh yeah, I'm watching now. It's got a Terry Bollea tribute off the top, so we'll see how this goes. Chris, any thoughts or plugs before we leave this week, brother?
Yeah, just check us out on the NWA podcast and follow us on the Blue Sky Nefarious Media Network, and follow me on Substack. I'm killing it right now. I got 653 subscribers.
Nice.
In less than 3 months. And I've got 24 paid subscribers, which is awesome. And then I'm also on Lincoln Square. It's helping me when I publish to Lincoln Square. It helps me drive up my own Substack, so I'm cool with that. Hopefully we scale up every venture that we have this year. And looking forward to the future, man.
Ray Williams, what you got to promote other than Elena Black's side ventures? What do you have to promote this week, brother?
Well, you know me. I nothing too much individually. Like you can find me online, but I ain't going to promote myself too much. But you can find me online if you go through the right circles. But continue to support us here at Nefarious Media Network. Not only are you getting this live parlay, but earlier today was the July 2025 installment of the Styles Break Fights. I'm about to call it the wrong name. Styles Break Fights podcast being dropped earlier this morning. So myself and Chi went ahead and discussed both UFC 317, 318, including the retirement of Dustin the Diamond Poirier and what he has meant to the sport. And we also, again, talk about the possibility, since it was piggybacking off of our conversation in NWA about the possibility of and the chances of the UFC having a fight card on the White House lawn. Me and Chi talked about that, and now it looks like it ain't no chance for John Jones with what Dana White is saying. Don't expect John Jones to be coming through anytime soon. All right. And again, continue to support us at all the platforms, but also go ahead if you have anything to ask us or to just give us genuine comments on how you feel we're doing here at Nefarious, go ahead and send us some messages via our email at Kings of Sport right now, Kings of Sport or Kings of Sport at gmail.com. And that leads us to this unplanned segment called the grab bag, the mail bag, if you will, because we did happen to get some mail through this particular email address. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring that up. All right. So there was a viewer who reached out to us, Tamima Akhtar. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that correct or not, or let me know if I need to get myself together. Tamima, ain't nobody meaner than Tamima. She says, "Hi, Nefarious Media Network team. I recently came across your channel and really appreciate the variety and quality of the content you're sharing. It's clear you put a lot of effort into every video. I especially enjoyed how you keep the topics interesting and fresh. Just curious, are you planning to explore new formats or add any special features to your videos soon? Keep up the great work. Looking forward to your next uploads."
Okay.
So if you
Shout out
guys
to
had
Mima.
anything to drop,
I'm thinking about this. I'm going to run this past you guys off the air, but
okay.
I don't know so much about videos, but I'm thinking about writing wrestling articles under the Nefarious banner.
Okay.
We'll think about. See, the thing is, I'm just not interested enough in wrestling to write about it all the time. So I have to kind of like look for the interesting stories. The thing with politics is most of the time those stories find me, and I got thoughts on them, and it's easy for me to put pen to paper. So I'm doing that. And then, just look at what we're experimenting with a bunch of shit. So just kind of keep your ear to the pavement. I'm looking to do more political stuff with my boys and girls, part of the network, and just look for our stuff, man. And follow us on Blue Sky, on the Facebook group, and you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I'll just say, we are planning some things here. Obviously, we just launched Super Salad a couple weeks ago, our newest show, hosted by OG Rachel Eiley and myself. We've got Styles Break Fights, we've got Ring Theory, we've got the Kings of Sports still here, the brothership, if you will, and we got the Parley, as well as some other shows like Avengers Initiative, which is going to be exclusive to the Patreon when we bring that back. We've got Kung Fu Island Season 2, which is going to be exclusive to the Patreon as well. And we've got SPF Extra on the Patreon. So we're trying some things. We're experimenting with some things. I upgraded my camera. So you can see me a little bit better, Ray. On this day, you can see clearly, brother.
Oh, indeed.
You can see in my face that I'm not buying what you said about Elena Black. Ain't nobody buying that nonsense, Ray Williams. Avery Brooks is not a good enough actor to even sell that. Cora, get well. We need you. Protect your peace of mind, Cora Jade. Avery Brooks. But no, we are trying some things. And again, to Tamima's point, audience, if you guys are watching, are there things that you would like to see us do more of? Are there topics you'd like to see us talk about more? Are there things, whether it's video or audio, you'd like to get more out of from the network? I ain't gonna promise you we're gonna do them because we all busy. Like I said, off the top, Ray got 3 kids he ain't seen. But yeah, shoot us an email, shoot us a tweet, DM. Let us know what you would like to see more of here at Nefarious Media, because we are constantly building this thing. And again, the most effective way to get us to listen is to subscribe. and not to Elena Black's side ventures. Even I mean, if you do got some extra money and you want to subscribe after that, that's cool. But first, subscribe to Nefarious Media because we on the drive for 500 YouTube subscribers. We get us halfway to monetization. 500 Patreon subscribers, which opens us up to do a lot of things here at the network. We're 6 months in, Chris, halfway through the new year, halfway through the year here at Nefarious. And so I'm excited about what we're going to look like for the rest of the summer and going into the fall here with the team. So, I got a birthday coming up in a couple of weeks. So I'm taking the week off from work. So I'll be able to, do some more things here with the team for that week. So we've got a lot of stuff. We're still building and we're still committed to the journey and we're having fun with it. So keep your eyes and ears to the ground. As Rachel Maddow would say, watch this space. Or as Elena Black would say to Ray Williams, watch these feet. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. No context added. I'm just going to let it sit. And we can move on. But yeah, we are trying to do. Ray is like, this is the thanks I get for all my efforts. But we
this is my legacy. That's gonna be on my team. Loves Elena Black.
The whole team is just gonna gather at your gravesite and just pour out some 40 ounces of milk. Just R.I.P. Ray Williams. You was a good you was a coworker and a friend, Ray. You was a coworker and a friend, brother.
And a long time friend.
And a long time coworker, brother. And a friend. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this edition of the Parlay. Thank you for checking us out. If you already subscribed to the Patreon, tell your friends about it because that's one of the ways we can grow this thing. But enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm about to watch this Raw. Man, see what's going on on these wrestling streets, and then we'll be back next week, Ray. Next week with Styles Break Fights. Styles Break Fights, is that coming out next week?
No, it came out today.
It came out today. What?
Yes, fourth Monday.
It's out right now.
Yes, like clockwork.
Wow! So you could go and listen to it right now after you finish watching this. Styles Break Fights with Ray Williams and Chinyere Okafor is out right now. And then next week, we'll probably be back with Super Salad Episode 2, Ray, talking about Fantastic Four. I was gonna say it, but I seen the red beams. You ain't gonna get me Michael Giacchino. I don't even know that's how you say your name, brother. But either way, you ain't gonna get me. But yeah, so we'll be back next week with Super Salad, and then we'll see what we do the week after that. Who knows? It's all a work in progress. So for Chris Ely, the professor, for Two-Way Ray on a 2-month subscription to that side venture, Ray Williams. Ray is like, how did he get my invoices? How does he know? How does he know about my proclivities? For Two-Way Ray Williams, I'm the Godfather Nate Milton. Y'all have a great evening. Do something with your dash, ladies and gentlemen. Do something with your dash. Make your life count. And stop fighting this war against Christmas. Christmas is a great time. But and we will see y'all next time. But for now, the parlay is over, brother.
Bye.